22 million travelers this week. CBS's Chris Van Cleve is at Los Angeles International.
AAA and the airlines expected the weekend to be an especially busy start to this long travel period. But it wasn't easy for flyers in particular. We saw more than 25,000 delays, more than 1,300 cancellations. We expect conditions to improve as people are traveling today. But we are watching some storms on the West Coast. The FAA says that could lead to delays at San Francisco's airport. They're also watching for delays at Newark.
They say the wheels of justice move slowly in the case of the Jeffrey Epstein files. It involves the release of 500 fully redacted pages. Here's CBS's Scott McFarland.
The Department of Justice says it is working on removing redactions, but must report to Congress in the coming weeks what's been redacted and why.
Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer is expected to file a bill to force the Justice Department to release all of it. The federal government says it's giving illegal migrants more incentives to leave the U.S. Correspondent Nicole Skanga.
The Department of Homeland Security is announcing it has tripled its exit bonus for undocumented migrants who voluntarily self-deport back to their home countries by December 31st, from $1,000 to $3,000 plus. DHS says qualified participants will also receive free airfare to their home countries and be waived of certain civil fines or penalties.
When it comes to buying Warner Discovery, a billionaire with strong ties to CBS may believe he's just made them an offer they can't refuse.
Billionaire Larry Ellison is offering a $40 billion personal guarantee to a hostile takeover bid for Warner Brothers by Paramount Skydance, which is run by Ellison's son David. CBS is owned by Paramount Skydance. The amended proposal from Paramount Skydance amounts to $108 billion. The board of directors of Warner Brothers wants shareholders to accept a competing buyout offer from Netflix. Jim Crisula, CBS News.
Well, fans are sending get well wishes to this singer. Barry Manilow says he's having surgery after a cancerous spot was found on one of his lungs. He's had bronchitis for weeks. Says all he needs for a good recovery is chicken soup and a lot of I Love Lucy reruns. On Wall Street, the Dow is up 270 points. This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Police search for a second vehicle involved in the death of a state trooper. But first, KIRO Newsradio traffic. Here's Ted Beener.
A crash is on southbound 99 near Republicans, blocking the right lane. If you're crossing the Aurora Bridge, move left to avoid this situation. Otherwise, traffic volumes are lighter than usual. The lingering slowdowns include northbound 167, approaching the Pacific Bridge strike lane restrictions. Also, northbound 405 from the Renton Curves to the VMAC, and northbound I-5 has brake lights from West Seattle Bridge into downtown. At SeaTac Airport, lots of folks are dropping people off at the departure ramp, and now the arrival ramp is getting busy as well. Some drive times: Puyallup to Renton, 40 minutes. Renton to Bellevue has dropped to 15 minutes. Federal Way to Seattle has improved to 20 minutes. And coming in from the north end, Everett to Seattle Bellevue, both of those are under a half hour. This traffic report is brought to you by Seattle Sports. Search Seattle Sports on YouTube and click subscribe to get fresh video content daily. I'm Ted Beener with KIRO Newsradio.
97.3 FM, Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO Newsradio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning, I'm Heather Bosch. Puyallup police say a 4-year-old is in critical condition after the car his family was riding in was hit by a driver fleeing police. It happened yesterday after officers tried to contact the driver in a parking lot and he took off. They did not follow. A short time later, investigators say that suspect ran a red light and slammed into the family's car. He faces charges of vehicular assault. Tacoma cops are searching for a second vehicle they believe hit a Washington state trooper who was killed while responding to a crash on State Route 509 Friday night. Officer Shelby Boyd tells KIRO 7 TV.
In this second vehicle, it's dark, it's rainy, right? There's a lot going on in that area. Also struck the trooper. So we really want to talk to that person.
That second vehicle is a dark-colored Chevy Avalanche or Cadillac Escalade SUV. We have a photo of it at mynorthwest.com. The first driver stayed at the scene and cooperated with police. The trooper killed was 29-year-old Tara Marisa Gooding. State Patrol Chief John Batiste talked to KIRO 7 about notifying her family.
I understand understand the grief that they're feeling because I'm feeling that same grief.
He says she was the 5th state trooper hit within the past week when Western Washington was hit with stormy weather. Governor Bob Ferguson is calling up 100 members of the National Guard to watch for levee problems along the White and Green Rivers in King County, where there were breaches last week. Catherine Sanborn is with the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers.
While the Green and White Rivers will start to slowly come down in the coming days, it is important for the public to know that water levels will stay above normal for several days.
Another atmospheric river could hit by Sunday. Cleanup from historic flooding continues across western Washington. KIRO 7 TV's Jason Sloss reports from Whatcom County.
Chris Sanders says he couldn't believe how quickly his house in Sumas filled with water.
By the time I get to the house from 50 feet away, it's right here.
Up to your thigh.
Up to the thigh.
So many people like Chris need help, and that's where a group like Samaritan's Purse comes in.
Seeing what can be salvaged, what has to be thrown away.
Samaritan's Purse is a relief organization responding to disasters all over the world. They dispatch teams to Whatcom County to ease the burden of flood victims.
This weather update brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. Rainy and windy today with highs in the upper 40s. It's 39 in downtown Seattle. I'm Heather Bosch.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with the KIRO Newsradio App. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO Newsradio, Northwest News.
This is the Gee and Ursula Show with G. Scott and Ursula Reutin.
Good morning and happy Monday to all of you. G is under the weather today, but Chef is here and the rest of the crew are here. Good morning, Chef.
Happy holidays. Merry Christmas.
Yes.
Just a couple days left.
I know.
The kids are counting down.
I bet they are.
Yeah.
I'm kind of counting down, too. Hey, did a flash flood alert in Kent cause unnecessary panic? The mayor of that city says yes, but at 9:30, we're going to hear why the National Weather Service insists it did make the right call. And then, speaking of the holidays, at 9:47, has all the joy been sucked out of shopping these days? How are you feeling about shopping? Text us at 888-973-5476, 888-973 KIRO. Let's get to our top stories now, brought to you by Bathfitter Northwest. And as you heard in Heather's newscast, the State Patrol is grieving a devastating loss today. A trooper was killed on Friday night while responding to a crash on State Route 509 in Tacoma. She was actually hit twice. And the driver of that second vehicle never stopped. And our reporter, KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey, joins us live now. This is just the saddest story.
Extremely sad. And let's dive into that as well. But first, let's start with the nuts and bolts of the investigation. What's the latest? You kind of heard from Heather, but let's give you a little more detail there as well. This happened along State Route 509 in Tacoma Friday night at between 7:20 and 7:30 is when they believe that she was hit, struck by, again, two vehicles. They're looking for the driver of the first vehicle stayed there at the scene and is cooperating. No arrests. I mean, it's nothing criminal in nature. It was bad weather that night, and they're still looking into it. But that second driver, they are looking for that driver. This is like a Chevy Avalanche or Cadillac Escalade. It's a pickup truck style SUV. We've got a photo on mynorthwest.com. They say that driver just kept going. Might have chrome on the sides and the bumpers as well. So that's part of the investigation. State Trooper Tara Marissa Guting, again, struck by two vehicles, just extremely sad, was on the force there for just 13 months.
Yeah, so new. She had just graduated.
Well, and we're hearing from other people who knew her really well. Her high school judo coach spoke with our CBS affiliate in her native Hawaii. He used words like teamwork and sacrifice and giving your best to describe her. And he said that she lived those values every single day of her life.
It's tragic because she was so young, right? She was just 29. She had her whole life ahead of her. I thought she really found her calling when she joined the National Guard.
And she was with the National Guard for 8 years before becoming a trooper. And, State Patrol Chief John Batiste, he is the one who told Guting's family, friends, and fellow troopers Friday night about her passing.
A wonderful young lady. I had an opportunity to meet her upon graduation from the academy. Just a fantastic young lady and was doing one heck of a job on behalf of the citizens of the great state of Washington.
I thought this was interesting. If you're interested, listening, her cruiser is now parked in front of District 1 headquarters. They put it out there in the front on the grass, and people are leaving flowers, leis. She's from Hawaii. Whatever you want to do. A nice note, a message.
Yeah, that would
it's
be
there
nice.
for other people to grieve as well.
Oh, my gosh. Okay, so I've heard that there have been other incidents involving troopers just in this past week.
We know this is a dangerous job. I mean, we've heard this, but Chief Batiste made it a point to say during a press conference early, I believe it was Saturday morning, he stayed up all night with reporters. 5 troopers, and just in the last week, have been hit and struck by vehicles. You know, not their bodies, but their vehicles. And it happens more often than we think. Very dangerous job, of course.
You know, I did not know this, I think, until 2 years ago when Chris Sullivan brought it up. But when a state trooper has someone pulled over on the side of the highway, if you are in the lane that is closest to them, you are supposed to move over to the left. The same with tow trucks. Robin Puyallup writes that stretch of highway is extremely narrow, extremely poorly lit. Ooh. If you see lights on, try to move over. I know it's not always possible, rush hour traffic, but try to move over because there's such a small margin for error.
Well, it's try to move over. It's actually the law to move over. The move over law, which has been actually changed to offer more protections. I mean, you are supposed to give them room, and this is still happening way too often. And I think just about all the investigating agencies would say that they don't actually carry out a lot of what is in this law enough.
Yeah, right.
Well, how would you enforce that, right? Because you have a state trooper who has someone pulled over. Where's the state trooper who's going to pull over people who aren't moving over their lanes?
Right. I mean,
they would have to do bait cars, basically.
Yeah, you're supposed to move, though, if there is an adjacent lane, and maybe that's not possible in this particular location. Do we know, how much time passed between the first vehicle hitting her and the second vehicle?
They're not releasing that information yet. You know, Tacoma Police are the official investigating agency here, and what they're saying is only between 7:20 and 7:30. So in a 10-minute stretch, struck once and then struck again by that second vehicle. You know, and I'm not saying this is part of certainly this will be part of the investigation, but I'm not saying this is a contributing factor. We got to think about alcohol and drugs is always a possibility of being related, because there are studies as well that show just the opposite. You know, the law is that you've got to move over, but especially impaired drivers, for some reason, are sometimes attracted to, like a moth to light, to those flashing blue and red lights, and that's a thing.
Well, the other thing, Luke, is part of the law, and I'm just looking at it right now, is that if you cannot safely change lanes, you have to at least slow down to a safer speed, and that means going well below the actual posted limit. If there is a trooper pulled over or an emergency vehicle pulled over. So there's a lot that we still don't know.
And if there is, by the way, drugs or alcohol involved in that second driver, it does not surprise me that they would leave the scene of the accident. Unfortunately, if somebody knows they have something in their vehicle that shouldn't be there, or they themselves are under the influence, they panic, they flee. And I hope they find this person, because potentially that becomes vehicular homicide?
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, you're only creating an even worse problem for yourself if you leave the scene. That first driver did stay, and you said was not arrested.
No.
We don't know, though, because it's still early in the investigation, if they find that person was impaired, which, again, there's no evidence that was the case. The charges could be coming later.
Could be, but WSP has said that as far as the first driver, nothing criminal are the words that they use, which could most likely encompass, a DUI, driving under influence of anything else.
Okay, so there was no evidence of that.
But so sad, very sad.
Luke, thank you so much. Appreciate it. The mayor of Kent is blasting the National Weather Service after emergency alerts went out during last week's levee failure along the Green River.
The breach in the levee, while significant and dangerous, I want to be really clear that there is an absolute flood component to that. It's much slower and would build its way out, and not that massive wall of water that comes to mind when you hear the word flash flood.
Mayor Dana Ralph tells Fox 13 News the flash flood warnings actually caused unnecessary panic.
That chaos then turned into the inability or significant hampering of fixing of the problem. So we needed to get equipment in there to repair that levee. City of Kent crews working with King County needed to bring in dump trucks, rock, all of those equipment, and we had to have police escorts for our equipment to get them to the levee.
And she's, Chef, trying to make the distinction because she says this wasn't this flash flooding caused by sudden rainfall, and her argument is that the wording matters because if you have to decide whether you're going to take your kids from school or you're going to evacuate or you're going to flood emergency lines, that wording matters. But the Weather Service is saying, no, they say once the water is going up quickly, people could be in danger. Their responsibility is to alert the public.
It seems like there were some communications breakdowns, but I mean, Ursula, tell me, do you know what to do if you get a alert on your phone that says flash flood?
If it's a legitimate one, because that was the first thing. We started getting text messages from our listeners who live in that area. They're like, what
am I supposed to do with this?
And we went out to the news desk and said, hey, can you check on it? And in fact, it was the truth. My first instinct would be get myself out of the area and move to higher ground. I'm not going to be calling 911. I mean, my first response would be, because I know that they get inundated.
Yeah. I mean, I guess for myself, we don't live in Texas. We don't live in a place like that youth camp where the waters rose 6 feet in a matter of minutes. We live in a place where we have floodplains. And I think to a certain extent, you have to rely on people to look out the window and see, hey, am I in danger? There's no wall of water coming. We know this is not a place where that happens. But
Except
I think
when a levee breaks? I mean, I right now, I want to know, because right now I am inclined to believe the National Weather Service. I would rather than Weather Service tell me levee break right now, move to higher ground versus, let me just wait, because time is of the essence.
Well, you want to over-index towards caution, right? But we don't get these alerts so often that it's a Tolt River Dam flood warning situation where it's gone off so many times that people don't pay attention to it. I think the problem she's pointing to is that it was too effective and maybe targeted too broadly. And I don't know about that. Fortunately, we do have someone who's an expert in this.
So he's going to join us, our very own Ted Beener.
What do you do when you get one of these alerts?
Exactly.
Who do you check with?
For people who don't know, he worked for the National Weather Service for many, many, many years, and he is in charge of a lot of the emergency coordination. So he will talk to us because, I mean, this was catastrophic, historic flooding. If you hear a levee breaks, I want to know what do I need to do at this moment to keep me and my family safe. So we will talk about that in just a bit. But you know how every bad situation seems to come with a little extra insult at the end? And for many people here around Western Washington who are dealing with flooding, there also has the possibility of now dealing with rats. Okay, I mean,
toilet rats.
Apparently, flooding causes sewer systems to get overwhelmed, and the rodents start looking for dry exits. Kitchen pipes are too small, so they go for the wide open welcome mat, aka your toilet.
Oh my gosh, can you imagine opening up the lid of your toilet and inside there's a little rat squeaking around in there? What's your first move, Ursula? Do you call Mark?
Screaming. Are you kidding me? I ask for help when I see a spider. Absolutely, I'm calling for Mark. And if Mark's not around, I'm screaming like a banshee.
Okay, well, according to King County Public Health, they have a very handy guide on what to do if you find yourself with a toilet rat. You already busted it because they say the first thing, you have to stay calm. Second, you put down the lid and you flush, right? But the rat may not go down the toilet then. So you're supposed to keep the lid down, grab a handy bottle of dish soap, because that may lubricate the fur of the rat enough such that it can slide back through the pipes. And then you're just supposed to keep flushing away. Apparently, it can take many, many flushes to get the rat back down. And if that does not work, it says keep the lid down. Call a pest control company.
Yes.
And if it escapes, put a trap out.
And they're also telling you to, keep the grease out of your drains, and because it's just attractive to the rats. Here's the funny thing. Because this story now made the New York Times, and it's just going all over the place. People are talking. I mean, I think we have a fascination with rats, first of all. Or
fascination / horror.
Great, yeah, horror. Yeah, just disdain for rats. I did this story, I'm not even joking, probably 20 years ago.
Really?
Maybe 15 years ago. I was looking for it, and it was so old that I couldn't even find it on My Northwest anymore. But I did the story because it was hysterical. The things that people would actually have the rat bump into them while they were using the
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, they'd get a little poke in the privates.
Yeah, it's just
like a little nose and some whiskers. Goose you for. At least we don't have toilet snakes here.
I talked to the guy who was in charge of the program for King County, and it was hysterical because he would just talk about all these different things, and these actual things, and then the idea of you putting the soap in to help it slide back down the pipes, how many times you have to flush it. I mean, no. It's just...
Oh, that is disgusting.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, hey, did you see the DK Metcalf?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Okay, so let's talk about that because, I mean, you know, he's not ours anymore, but former Seattle Seahawk DK Metcalf is in hot water after grabbing a fan and taking a swipe at him. So this unfolded in the second quarter of the Steelers' 29-24 win at Ford Field. But the fan, Ryan Kennedy, leaned over the railing holding Steelers gear and apparently was taunting Metcalf.
DK Metcalf had mixing up with someone in the stands.
Oh, my gosh.
And that not going to have great consequences for the Steelers and Metcalf.
Now, that fan told the Detroit Free Press that he simply called Metcalf by his full name, DeKalin Zacharias Metcalf.
Right.
Mm-hmm. But former wide receiver Chad Johnson, who was speaking on a podcast after talking with Metcalf post-game, said the fan actually used a racial slur and insulted Metcalf's mom, although there's no audio or any witnesses who've confirmed either story. And the NFL could hand down discipline as soon as today. A lot of people are talking about a fine or potential suspension. What do you think should happen?
I think that there are far too many people in today's society that think they can get away with calling people horrific things and not expecting to get smacked in the mouth. I honestly, like, if this fan said a racial slur to him, denigrated his mother, and he's sitting right there at the edge of the field, yeah, expect to get smacked. I mean, I think if DK gets fined $10,000, whatever, he doesn't care. He's worth tens of millions of dollars. There's how many workplaces could you go into and call someone the N-word and not expect to get smacked, kicked out, whatever?
I appreciate what you're saying, but I wholeheartedly disagree. I mean, the fan is an absolute jerk. Sounds like a racist jerk who should be banned from ever attending a game again.
Mm-hmm.
But DK knows better.
Knows better than to what?
To not go over and hit a fan. I mean, under NFL's conduct policy, I looked this up, players must disengage from fans at all times. Security and officials are responsible for crowd control, not players. Retaliation is not a defense, even if a fan is heckling, yelling slurs, or leaning over the rail.
Well, that might be the NFL's rules, but there's also human nature. And these are real human beings with real feelings. I think a lot of people forget that.
Oh, I understand that part.
And the hecklers at games, who likes that? Who likes being the fan sitting next to the guy who's shouting horrible stuff?
So have security haul the dude out and ban him from any game in the future.
Apparently, DK flagged this guy to Seahawks security last year, or when he was with the team the last time they played, and this guy is still here. So the NFL system isn't working.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
When enforcement doesn't work, people take things into their own hands.
What do you guys think? 888-973-5476, 888-973 KIRO. Okay, earlier in the show, we told you that Kent's mayor is criticizing the National Weather Service, saying they caused unnecessary panic by putting out an emergency alert last week. We will talk to someone who is very familiar with all this and see if we can come up with an answer. Did they go too far? That's coming up next on the Gee and Ursula Show.
Happy holidays and Merry Christmas, everyone. It's John Curley from KIRO Radio's John Curley Show. Remember, the greatest present you can give is yourself. Your presence is the greatest present. Besides, it's really hard to re-gift your Uncle Bob. It makes a lot of noise in the box. From all of us here at KIRO Radio and the John Curley Show, have yourself a Merry Christmas and, of course, a Happy New Year.
From KIRO Newsradio 97.3 FM.
If you have a family, you know your car has to do a lot, and that's why I have trusted Subaru. As you all know, I drive an Outback. It has been perfect for our family. We bought it at Carter Subaru in Seattle, and it was the second car that our family purchased from that dealership, and their fantastic customer service is the reason that we are going to keep coming back. Right now, they have the largest selection in the state, including the 2025 Subaru Crosstrek with 1.9% financing for 72 months on approved credit. And during the Subaru Share the Love event, Subaru donates $250 for every new Subaru purchased to one of 6 charities, including my favorite, Treehouse. You are driving home in something reliable and wonderful, and you're doing a lot of good at the same time. Visit Carter Subaru in Shoreline or Ballard, or get started at cartersubaru.com.
On approved credit, subject to vehicle insurance and availability. A documentary service fee may be added to the sale price or capitalized costs. See dealer for details. Valid through 12/31/25.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code BOOST25 to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code BOOST25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code BOOST25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
The stock market was on fire in 2025 due to AI and tech stocks. Now is the time to set a strategy for 2026. It's a good opportunity to lock in those gains and invest into a stable platform. With $8 trillion in cash sitting on the sidelines, investors are either scared or unsure where to go. Hi, I'm Scott Rurecka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital in Bellevue. Legacy Group Capital develops local real estate, lends money, and shares the profits with our investors. Diversify with Legacy Group Capital. Invest into our Northwest Fund, which is currently delivering 9% on a fixed rate term. It's our flagship fund for 19 years with 0 investor losses. And yes, we do accept IRAs. Find out why 1,300 local investors have invested over $350 million.
Legacy Group Capital at LegacyG.com. This is not investment advice. Investments available to accredited investors only. Details at LegacyG.com.
Corporate megastores are spending millions lobbying D.C. politicians on one-sided policies that send small businesses tumbling. They want to enact harmful credit card mandates that take resources away from your local credit union and community bank, leaving Main Street businesses with less access to credit, making it harder for your family to pay for everyday goods like gas and groceries. Tell Congress to guard your card and oppose the Durbin-Marshall credit card mandates.
Paid for by Electronic Payments Coalition.
It's a freezing night, and suddenly your heating dies. A fix could take several days or longer. Don't let this happen to you. If your system's 12 years or older, it's on borrowed time. Upgrade now to a dependable Mitsubishi electric heating and air conditioning system and keep your family comfortable. Schedule a consultation today at HomeComfortAlliance.com. For all your heating, cooling, plumbing, and electrical needs, visit HomeComfortAlliance.com. That's HomeComfortAlliance.com. And happy holidays to all.
FIFA World Cup 2026 is coming soon, but your opportunity to be there starts now through an exclusive offer with an eligible Bank of America Visa credit card. For a limited time, become a new customized cash rewards or unlimited cash rewards Visa credit card holder, and you will be eligible for a chance to purchase FIFA World Cup 2026 tickets. Learn more at BofA.com/cardFWC26. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America, proud to be the official bank of FIFA World Cup 2026. Bank of America NA in partnership with Visa. Terms apply. Rights reserved.
With Steel, batteries are included. This holiday season, give a gift that's ready to go right out of the box. For everything from cleaning up the yard to cutting up firewood, Steel tools check off the wish list and knock out the to-do list. And right now, buy select battery tool sets and get a free extra battery. Visit SteelUSA.com for holiday deals and gift ideas. Happy holidays from Steel. Offer valid for a limited time only at participating dealers while supplies last.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning, I'm Heather Bosch. Could we see power outages Christmas Eve? KIRO News Radio meteorologist Ted Beener tells us Wednesday could be blustery across western Washington.
We're going to increase the southerly winds not only along the coast, but through the western interior. So basically from the Willamette Valley all the way up to Vancouver, BC.
Wind gusts could hit 40 to 60 miles an hour. He says the winds should calm down by Christmas morning. Well, after last week's storms, a Whidbey Island family used a tractor and pulley system to prevent a massive tree from crashing into their home. KIRO 7 TV's Allison Amoy has more.
Slowly and surely, they pivoted the tree and dropped it away from the house.
But it was pretty fun. I gotta say that.
Once it fell.
Woo! Yeah. I had absolute confidence in teamwork.
Where's the nice big tree now?
It's in the woodshed going into the fireplace.
They are now proactively taking down damaged trees. Saying that maintenance is long overdue, Governor Bob Ferguson is pushing a $3 billion plan to fix aging roads and bridges. It would also fund 3 new state ferries. He says $164 million would go just to paving over the summer.
Fixing potholes is not sexy. I understand that, but it is important.
The state would borrow the money backed by taxes and fees the legislature approved this year. He says 40% of the state highways need repaving. 1 in 10 bridges is more than 80 years old. It's a federal program that pays non-citizens to leave the U.S. on their own.
Leave now.
Now it's offering more money. CBS's Nicole Skanga explains.
The Department of Homeland Security has tripled its exit bonus for undocumented migrants who voluntarily depart the U.S. through self-deportation, increasing the stipend from $1,000 to $3,000.
You have to use the government's app and leave by the end of the year. Holiday travelers are starting to crowd into SeaTac Airport. Tomorrow and Friday are expected to be the busiest days. KIRO 7 TV reports if you're picking someone up, you can park free in the garage for up to 90 minutes, but only between 7 p.m. and midnight today through Sunday. On Wall Street, the Dow is up 253 points, NASDAQ ahead 134. KIRO News Radio traffic. Consultant, the crash is blocking all lanes of US 2 westbound and eastbound at Fern Bluff Road. And remember, US 2 is blocked completely from Skycomish to Leavenworth due to storm damage. In Seattle, the crash has been cleared from State Route 99 near Republican Street. Travel times, Everett to Seattle 22 minutes, Federal Way to Seattle 18, Renton to Bellevue 11, and your lake bridges are clear. Traffic brought to you by KIRO News Radio. This weather update brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. Rainy and windy with highs in the upper 40s. It's 41 in downtown Seattle. I'm Heather Bosch.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
Welcome back to the Gee and Ursula Show. Gee is feeling a little under the weather today, but the rest of the crew is in, and we are going to make sure that you stay informed. And people all across Western Washington are still cleaning up from last week's catastrophic flooding. But, Chef, because we know that the atmospheric river, that is all done, and we've had now our shortest day of the year, so I was thinking like, we can see the brighter side of things. But then Ted Beener had to come in.
Ted, are you going to ruin Christmas?
What on earth? And we were going to talk about something else, but we're going to push that off for just a second because you were mentioning something about weather on Christmas Eve.
Yeah. This wasn't even on the charts yesterday. But overnight, and again this morning, we've got a developing low-pressure system that's going to move right along the coastline from Northern California all the way up to Vancouver, BC, or Vancouver Island, rather, and it's going to produce some strong southerly winds. Now, the timing on it at this moment looks like the wind's picking up in the Puget Sound area late in the afternoon into the evening, possibly have gusts of at least 40 miles per hour, if not closer to 60 miles per hour.
Oh, wow.
Our soils are wet, so like we had a couple of Tuesdays ago where the trees can fall pretty easily, power outages, things like that, all on Christmas Eve. It's just horrible timing.
No.
Horrible timing.
It is horrible timing. So how long are we talking, and what makes you worried about what's coming in?
Well, it came almost out of nowhere, really. That's what worried me. When I was writing my story for My Northwest, which is on mynorthwest.com right now, didn't have an inkling that this was going to be the case. And now we do. So, and it's happening at just the wrong time. Yeah, it just, I don't like it. But it's the bottom line is for everybody that's listening at this moment and carry the message to others, loved ones, etc. Get ready. If you lose power, make sure if you have backup generators, make sure they are ventilated outside,
Christmas
not inside
dinner.
the house. Yeah, exactly. If you don't have a generator, which is fine, have flashlights, not candles, flashlights with fresh batteries, and be ready to weather the storm. It's going to be a quick one. It'll come in, blow for a few hours, probably 4 hours or so, and then taper off after that. So Christmas Day looks pretty calm and quiet in comparison.
But if your power's out, you might have a hard time roasting that turkey or prime rib or whatever it is. So you better have someone who knows how to handle a barbecue and keep it at low heat.
Yep, exactly.
Or just have things that don't need to be heated. Just have, it might be improvising. Okay, before we get to the story about what happened in Kent, I do need to ask, I want to tap into your expertise because we have talked about it on the show. What should we have, whether it's for an earthquake or power outages? What is the basic minimum for an emergency kit that we should have ready at all times?
All right, it depends on your age. So for folks that are older, they got to make sure they have a plentiful supply of whatever meds that they're prescribed. Okay, that's number one. Number two are the basics: food, water, clothing of any kind, so something to keep you warm, particularly this time of year. You might remember the Hanukkah Eve windstorm in December '06. We had all those power outages, 1.8 million people without power.
Mm-hmm.
And then people were bringing heating elements to stay warm inside the house, and that resulted in the carbon monoxide fatalities, and hundreds of others were poisoned. Yeah,
yes.
Exactly. So have all these basics in mind. You can do that in your home as well if you're going to be out on the road.
Do you have a kit for you personally? Do you have just like a big bag with these
things? I've got canned food in that pantry. All right, in canned food. If I need to warm something up, it's going on the barbecue. If I lose everything in the house, I can at least warm things up on the barbecue and have a warm meal to go with that. And if you have a refrigerator full of stuff, maybe a freezer, and it's going to be out for a while, we don't know how strong these winds are and what kind of damage it's going to do at this point, but be prepared. You may want to barbecue a lot of that meat, put it into a cooler so the critters don't get into it, and you'll have meals going forward.
Just stick it outside because it's going to be cold enough.
You don't need much cooling because it's going to be 40 degrees outside.
If we're on weather-related topics, there is one question that every child in the region needs to know from you, and that is, of course, can we expect snow at some point this year or early next?
All right. First of all, we're not going to have a white Christmas.
Yep.
That looks to be the case at this point. Sorry, kids.
Might be a windy one, but not a white
exactly.
one.
If you want snow, head up to the mountains, because we've been piling it up since this past Friday. Excuse me. For instance, Mount Baker's now in excess of 50 inches of snow. And White Pass is also in that category. The other Central Cascade places are somewhere between 2 and 3 feet at this moment, and we're still piling it up. So that's always good news. We've got a number of ski areas have now opened up. You're looking at when are we going to potentially get something
Lowland
here
snow,
later
yeah.
on. La Nina is with us. It's not the strongest in the world, but it does help build a healthy mountain snowpack, generally speaking. And if we're going to have any snow events, probably in the month of January or perhaps as late as into early February.
Okay, we're going to talk about the Kent mayor's criticism of the National Weather Service. She said those emergency alerts that went out during last week's levee failure along the Green River caused unnecessary panic.
We have to coordinate language. I can't emphasize enough. I am more concerned that the panic that was created was far more dangerous than the situation on the ground. And there was real flooding. The levee had breached. There was water coming out. That is not downplaying that. But flash flood warning to an area so large with so many people in it, there's no way to manage that in a safe way.
Now, what our listeners might not know, Ted, is that you worked for many, many years for the National Weather Service.
Mm-hmm.
You also are very involved in local emergency planning efforts.
Well, I'm also the chair of the State Emergency Communications Committee, the folks that manage the emergency alert system and wireless emergency alerts, those things that show up in your smartphone.
Okay, so tell us about this. Was this a mistake? Did it go too far?
This was probably a rushed effort because when a levee breaks, it's a very short-fused event. They did not choose, in my opinion, a small enough targeted area, which is why they did a second one. That one was much better than the first. No doubt about that.
Okay.
I'm also a strong advocate for exercises. So in other words, they could have gone through what are called tabletop exercises to go through scenarios and decide how you're going to do something. I guarantee you that the folks at my former office, they learned a lot of lessons there, and I do not blame the mayor for what she is saying. She's absolutely on target. They will go back and review this and make adjustments for the future.
When those alerts come through to our phones, because we had a lot of listeners texting in saying, hey, I just got this flash flood alert. What do I do? As someone who gets it on my phone, where's the first place I should go? Aside from KIRO News Radio.
Exactly. Probably the Weather Service Seattle website, and it would have been posted there. On the map, you would have seen a blocked red area. Click on that, boom, you get the information. Plus, you get the full statement, all the information involved with it. I don't know the circumstances directly, but here's probably what happened. Levee broke. Authorities at the scene said, Houston, we have a problem. We need to get the word out because this water can go anywhere. So they reached out to County Emergency Management, at King County in this case, who reached out to the Weather Service. They quickly got something out to get the ball rolling and then realized, that was too big of an area. Let's finite it, do it a second time, which is why they did it a second time.
Okay.
And then that was much better the second time around.
So, yeah, the criticism sounds like it is warranted because my initial reaction was, hey, I would rather know and act quickly versus worry about the verbiage because we've seen how it works in the opposite.
Correct.
When it wasn't fast enough and it wasn't urgent enough.
Right.
And then there was a lot of blame to go around.
Yeah, at least the warning was out.
Yes.
That's for the folks that were
so they
going to be
refine
impacted.
It. Yes.
They were able to take some action pretty quickly and stay out of harm's way. We had no fatalities in this case, no injuries.
That's true.
We had damage to the levee, but nevertheless, that's a lot of lessons learned. Ted
Beener, thank you so much.
You're
Appreciate
welcome.
you. Thank you. Okay, still ahead. Have we sucked all the joy out of shopping? Man, I'll tell you what, I usually love shopping. This time around, I don't know if it's my age or what, but it's just that much harder. Okay, we'll talk about that next on the Gee and Ursula Show.
Here we go. Darnold has time. Looks inside. It's caught! The Seahawks win the game!
Playoff berth?
An instant classic.
This is who we are. That's Seahawks football.
Check.
Probably the craziest game I've ever seen.
With the playoffs looming, what's next?
You know, we're always going to fight.
Complete coverage at mynorthwest.com.
They now have the inside track on having the best record in the NFC.
And the home of the Seahawks. KIRO News Radio on 97.3 FM.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime.
Our entry-level data plans start at just $20 a month. And for a limited time, switch and get your second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com or a store near you and get your second month free today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional details.
This holiday season, Capital One reminds you to give yourself the gift of 1.5% cash back with the Capital One Quicksilver Card.
Can I earn 1.5% cash back on birds?
Birds?
What if you sent your true love 2 turtle doves plus a partridge in a pear tree?
Sure, but why would anyone want that?
The song was very convincing.
Earn 1.5% cash back on all your holiday purchases with the Capital One Quicksilver Card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details. When you switch to Progressive and bundle your home and auto, you could save hundreds, and that's a surprising amount of money.
Whoa, that's like farmer's market money.
That's like give me a gallon of that locally sourced raw honey money.
That's certified organic heirloom tomatoes in every imaginable color except red money.
That's let's get 2 pounds of pink oyster mushrooms money. I'm not even sure I like pink oyster mushrooms.
Guess it's time to find out, because you could save hundreds when you switch to Progressive and bundle. Then the world is your pink oyster mushroom. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
How do you stay humble when you're America's #1 wiper blade? That's what we're currently dealing with at Rain-X. Is it even possible to humble brag when you bully Mother Nature like we do? Do we sound too conceited if we keep repeating how Rain-X is the #1 brand of wiper blades in America? No. We'll take a lesson from our wipers and just keep doing our job with humility. As America's #1 wiper blade. Rain-X. Outsmart the elements.
Thank you, Dr. Wagner. I have a really bad left hip. In fact, this other doctor's like, well, you're going to have to get a hip replacement. I was like, oh my God. He goes, how old are you? I told him, well, you're going to have to wait a couple of years because we don't want you to wear the hip out. We want you and the hip to both go to heaven together. I was like, well, in the meantime, well, try stretching, aspirin. I was like, I'm not doing that. I'm in pain. I can't sleep. I could barely walk. I'd get off a plane and I'm like struggling to even make it down the ramp. I go to see Dr. Wagner. He explains to me how the stem cell procedure works. It's 90 minutes, and I'm telling you right now, I love it. So rather than surgery, make an appointment to see Dr. Wagner. It could be the game changer for you, like it's been for a whole bunch of other people as well. So whether it's your hip or your wrist or your shoulder, your knee, check out Dr. Mark Wagner. I'm telling you right now, stem cell procedure could be the answer for you, as it's been for me. You want to find out more? drmarkwagnermd.com. That's drmarkwagnermd.com.
Sniffles and sneezes got you down? GoodRx is here to help with big savings on commonly prescribed cold and flu meds. GoodRx is free and easy to use. GoodRx is accepted at all major pharmacies like CVS, Walmart, and Walgreens. Just search your prescription, find a coupon, then show your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx is not insurance, but it works whether you have insurance or not. If you do, GoodRx may beat your copay price. Download the free app or visit goodrx.com to save today.
It all comes down to this, folks.
Yep, the entire season is on the line. But my throat has officially thrown in the towel.
Sounds like you need Vicks VapoCool drops. They're max strength and vaporize sore throat pain.
Whoa! These VapoCool drops hit fast.
Speaking of fast, did you just see that play?
Yeah, he vaporized that ball.
That pun should have come with a penalty.
Vaporize sore throat pain with Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed.
The stock market was on fire in 2025 due to AI and tech stocks. Now is the time to set a strategy for 2026. It's a good opportunity to lock in those gains and invest into a stable platform. With $8 trillion in cash sitting on the sidelines, investors are either scared or unsure where to go. Hi, I'm Scott Rurecka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital in Bellevue. Legacy Group Capital develops local real estate, lends money, and shares the profits with our investors. Diversify with Legacy Group Capital. Invest into our Northwest Fund, which is currently delivering 9% on a fixed rate term. It's our flagship fund for 19 years with zero investor losses. And yes, we do accept IRAs. Find out why 1,300 local investors have invested over $350 million.
Legacy Group Capital at legacyg.com. This is not investment advice. Investments available to accredited investors only. Details at legacyg.com.
This is the Gee and Ursula Show, and I probably don't need to tell you, but it is December 22nd. You only have a couple more days left before Christmas, and if you're still doing some shopping, you are officially in panic mode. Malls are packed. I can tell you that from experience. Yesterday, I went to the outlet mall up there in Marysville.
Yeah?
Actually, we found parking. That was the good news. And you know what we did? We just went a little further because one thing I've realized is that people always want to just park as close as possible to the stores. So if you just go to the parking garage, there was room.
Well, you can circle for 15 minutes trying to find a spot that gets you, about 60 seconds closer.
Right. It's like,
you have to move your legs.
Extra steps. However, I mean, and then I get some people cannot do that. But the question right now this morning is anyone actually having fun with their shopping? So text us, 888-973-5476, 888-973 KIRO. And the reason I'm asking this is because a Pulitzer Prize-winning fashion critic writes in the New York Times that shopping now is an abyss of blah.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. And for some people, that's always been the case. For me, I have always enjoyed shopping. I still, as Gee likes to say, no one goes to malls anymore, but I am one of those that still enjoys going to the mall. But Robin Given argues that shopping has turned into just this miserable slog instead of what used to be a sensory experience of discovery. I can't remember that part either, though, but it's become purely transactional. I would argue that it's very hard to find someone to help you out. Or you can also have the opposite where, depending on what department you go into, for example, you can have...
They vulture you.
Yeah, exactly. And they're hovering around you when you want to just be left alone. But she talks about the death of the department store, not just as a place to buy your pants, but also as that third place. Starbucks is not the only one that wants that third place, like a community hub.
Yeah.
Do you remember? I have a video of when we lived in Eugene. Like every year, our choir used to do Christmas carols at the mall.
Oh, right.
At Valley River Mall.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
remember when you would have those little community events or the fashion show at the mall and Bon Marché.
Yeah.
How they would always have these community events, or Frederick and Nelson downtown. And it wasn't such a chore. It was actually an event. You'd go to get pictures with Santa.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's in my distant memory. I mean, but I do remember it.
Yeah.
Going down there, and and also the boxes, like getting that special box from is usually Grandma, Nordstrom's or Frederick and Nelson or whatever it was. But it is such a commodified experience now.
Well, what's funny is, so last night I was actually wrapping some of the gifts, and the other thing that has gone by the wayside for a lot of people is wrapping your gifts, because everything's about the gift bag anymore. And I forced myself.
What is wrong with the gift bag?
Nothing. It's perfectly fine and convenient. But there is an art to gift wrapping. And sometimes it's the presentation that makes all the difference, I believe.
Is there some kind of a secret class that women take to learn how to gift wrap?
No.
Because like Gabby does it amazing. My mom does it amazing. I look like a toddler just pasted it together.
Mine isn't amazing. In our family, the one who does it best now is our new brother-in-law, Walker.
Oh, yeah?
Who, I'll tell you, he should do a class on it. But it just makes it feel that much more special. Like, so, and is there anything wrong with a gift bag? No. We recycle gift bags. So it's very sensible.
We have like 60 in our closet.
I know. But you kind of lose something. And this is what this writer says. She says we've also lost our taste because we've stopped hunting. We've stopped wandering. I mean, we just let an algorithm on Instagram tell us what's trendy. We buy it. We move on. Like, for example, when you had sent me this article about people who perfume shop.
Right.
And you go in, you actually know what you want already. Because you've seen it on TikTok or you've seen it on social media. And I'm just curious if you miss the old way. I'm guessing it's nothing that you've ever enjoyed.
No, it's not. But, going with someone, like if I go with Gabby or when I was younger, if I'd go with my mom, someone who would curate selections for me, then like I would find a lot of things that I wouldn't normally pick out for myself.
Yeah.
And that's been replaced by a lot of online shopping with a 50% return rate and no guarantee on quality. I mean, are you having fun with your Christmas shopping this year, or is it feeling more like a chore?
I'm having fun because our list is shorter, but I waited too long. I truly waited too long. I can't. What I used to be able to pull off, I can't do anymore.
Why?
Because it would just be hours and hours of power shopping, and like the girl gets tired now.
Shopping is exhausting. Shopping is exhausting.
I don't want to. I just suggest not waiting until the last few days before Christmas. The other thing that's different this year, I think I shared with you, I didn't get a tree, but I just found out this morning you didn't get a tree either.
No, we got a free fake tree from some friends of ours that live down the road, and I thought that my whole life had been, you gotta have a real tree. Gotta have a real tree. You know what? The real tree doesn't smell after 2 days. It smells for 2 days. And so paying $50 to $75 a day for the smell of a fresh tree, I think is no longer worth it.
You know what sticks around, though, with
Yes.
the real trees? Is those dang pine needles that
That's
end
true.
up on the floor. Extra vacuuming for you.
But it's worth it when you smell it. Just the feeling and the smell of that real tree. That's
What if I
not
just go cut a branch off a cedar in the park and stick it under the couch so it smells?
Little Charlie Brown tree over there.
It's not the same. It's not the same. Hey, Tamara in Tacoma does want to say something to the folks at Tacoma Mall. She says, can someone explain to me why the heck the mall took out all of the seating? There are huge swaths of empty floor space in the mall and no seats. Why did they remove them? Kind of tough for people who, like her, are healing from a broken leg and you can't stand on your feet for very long. And man, people get tired when you're doing all that power shopping.
I have an idea why that may have happened, but I don't want to float it.
Oh. Yeah, I'm not going to ask you. Okay, text us 888-973-5476, 888-973 KIRO. Coming up in the 10 o'clock hour, we're going to talk about taxing the rich and how it may have reached a boiling point in our state. We'll talk about that coming up next on the Gee and Ursula Show.
It all comes down to this, folks.
Yep, the entire season is on the line. But my throat has officially thrown in the towel.
Sounds like you need Vicks VapoCool drops. Their max strength and vaporize sore throat pain.
Whoa! These VapoCool drops hit fast.
Speaking of fast, did you just see that play?
Yeah, he vaporized that ball.
That pun should have come with a penalty.
Vaporize sore throat pain with Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Saline from Vicks.
Sinex Saline Nasal Spray.
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Saline instantly clears everyday congestion associated with colds and year-round allergies with a gentle, ultra-fine mist that's no mess and easy to control.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it.
Enjoy life's important moments without congestion. Try Sinex Saline from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
I got to tell you something, Nick. I have really noticed a difference in your energy level since you started going to the Longevity Medical Clinic.
And you know why?
Why?
Because they actually balanced my hormone levels. And when they do that, the largest change I noticed was that now I could sleep.
And then not only get more sleep, to just get more energy, right?
Right. So that all of a sudden that resulted in me, I started running again and doing all these things that I felt so fatigued throughout the day that I couldn't do anymore.
Okay, so at this point, do you want to apologize to me? Because I was always saying to you, every time you'd say, I don't sleep, I don't feel well, I feel kind of off, I'd go, well, you need to get in touch with Longevity Medical Clinic. And you were always like, blah, 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 blah.
I know. But now it's turned into something fun that we get to go in together.
So I need to hear, you were right.
You were right.
You were right. I should have gone to Longevity Medical Clinic.
I should have.
There we go. Fine.
Yes.
You know the right thing to do. Get in touch with Longevity Medical Clinic. Take the free health analysis at lmclinic.com.
It's cold outside, and if you're noticing it's taking forever to heat your home, there are cold spots in certain rooms, your furnace turns off and on a lot, or it never stops, or maybe your energy bill is just way too high. These are all warning signs that your home needs a blanket. There may be something wrong with your insulation, which means not only are you uncomfortable in your own home, but you could be wasting hundreds or thousands of dollars a year in lost energy. Call Insulation Northwest today, and we'll send one of our professionals to give you a fast, free energy inspection to determine if there is a problem. And if there is a problem, we can fix it fast. Most jobs are completed in 1 day. You have nothing to lose. The inspection is free and only takes about an hour and could save you thousands. Keep the heat in, the cold out, and your energy bill low. Call Insulation Northwest today. Insulation Northwest, the real insulation company.
Please ask if you qualify for thousands of dollars of free rebates from your energy company.
InsulationNorthwest.com.
Carter Subaru is Seattle's only Subaru dealership and has the state's largest selection. Get the 2025 Crosstrek at 1.9% financing for 72 months. And during the Share the Love event, Subaru donates $250 for every new Subaru purchase to one of 6 charities, including hometown favorite Paws. Visit Carter Subaru in Shoreline and Ballard or at cartersubaru.com.
On approved credit, subject to vehicle insurance and availability. A documentary service fee may be added to the sale price or capitalized costs. See dealer for details. Valid through 12/31/25.
Your new home is ready now. D.R. Horton, America's builder, has new construction communities across Puget Sound and Central Washington, with more coming. Find your new home at drhorton.com. America's builder, an equal housing opportunity builder.
Your best source for local news. KIRO Newsradio, KIRO FM and HD1, Tacoma, Seattle, Northwest News.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
I'm Peter King. TSA says it expects to screen well over 44 million flyers during the 16-day holiday travel period. Nearly 2.8 million per day flew this past Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Correspondent Chris Van Cleve is at LAX.
That holiday rush is just getting started here at LAX this morning. It was a challenging weekend. More than 25,000 delays, more than 1,300 cancellations. Today should be better, but we're watching West Coast storms. The FAA watching for delays in San Francisco and Newark as millions are on the move.
And, of course, everybody is watching that weather. So CBS News meteorologist Rob Marciano, who says the West Coast is getting those so-called atmospheric rivers again.
Travel on the east side of the country is going to be an issue as well. We've got a little pulse of moisture coming into cold enough air tomorrow morning where we'll probably see some snow, at least to start along I-95. North of I-95, some accumulation. I think Boston's going to be a bit of a mess tomorrow. Pittsburgh maybe as well. A bit of slick spots across parts of Minneapolis.
Top domestic travel destination this week, Orlando. A number of lawmakers are pushing for the release of about 500 redacted pages from the Jeffrey Epstein files. CBS's Scott MacFarlane says parts of Friday's big document dump simply disappeared over the weekend.
A U.S. official tells CBS.
At least 15 files initially released were taken down without explanation, according to a CBS News review, including an image that appeared to show Trump in at least one photo. The Justice Department later clarified that image was flagged for additional review and then reposted after it was determined there was no evidence Epstein survivors were in the image.
In the Caribbean, the chase is on. More from CBS's Erica Brown.
A U.S. official tells CBS News the Coast Guard is in active pursuit of a third oil tanker connected to Venezuela. It comes after the U.S. military seized a second tanker over the weekend that the White House says was, quote, operating as part of the Venezuelan shadow fleet to traffic stolen oil.
Tonight's Powerball jackpot is up to $1.6 billion, billion with a capital B, the fourth largest ever. So what would you do if you won?
I would be so less stressed if I had $1 billion.
I would probably buy Xbox.
My wife encourages me to buy a ticket because she wants to go on a big trip.
Bourbon maker Jim Beam says it's shutting down one of its Kentucky distilleries for 2026, maybe longer, due to rising tariffs and declining demand. The company says bottling and warehouse at the site will stay open. So will the larger distillery in Boston, Kentucky. Dow is up 296. This is CBS News.
Sponsored by Progressive. See why over 43 million drivers trust Progressive to stay protected on the road. See for yourself at Progressive.com.
A state trooper killed days ago, not the only trooper hit within the week. That story coming up, but first, KIRO Newsradio traffic. In Sultan, a crash is still blocking all lanes of US 2 westbound and eastbound at Fern Bluff Road. First responders are on the scene there. Remember, US 2 is blocked completely from Skycomish to Leavenworth due to storm damage. Snoqualmie Pass is bare and wet, no restrictions. Bluewood Pass, your only way into Leavenworth right now. Compact snow and ice, traction tires advised, no oversized vehicles there. White Pass, compact snow and ice, traction tires required. Traffic brought to you by the Seattle Mariners. This holiday season, give the gift of Mariners baseball. Mariners.com/tickets.
KIRO News Radio, 97.3 FM, Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning, I'm Heather Bosch. Washington State Patrol Chief John Batiste says the trooper who was struck and killed while investigating a wreck in Tacoma Friday was the 5th trooper hit on the job within the last week.
They know that possibility,
but it's always our hope and our prayer that we get through these careers intact.
He describes 29-year-old trooper Tara Marisa Guting as a wonderful young lady. The first motorist who struck Guting on State Route 509 stayed and cooperated with police. Now, police are searching for a second vehicle, a dark-colored Chevy Avalanche or Cadillac Escalade SUV. We have a photo at mynorthwest.com. Puyallup police say a driver who was fleeing police caused a crash that left several people injured, including a 4-year-old who is in critical condition. Police say it started after they contacted a suspect in a parking lot. He drove off. They didn't follow, but a short time later, they were called to a crash and discovered that the suspect had run a red light, slamming into the boy's family's car. He faces charges of vehicular assault. Governor Bob Ferguson says 100 National Guard members are being mobilized to monitor levees along the White and Green Rivers where there were breaches last week. Catherine Sanborn with the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers says they are operating dams carefully.
That means a slow and smooth decrease of our outflows so that we manage both levee function and our reservoir elevations while we're holding back behind the dams as we prepare for future storm events.
Ferguson says they're preparing for another atmospheric river, possibly that could hit by Sunday. Homeowners in Sumas are getting some help cleaning up after this month's devastating floods. KIRO 7 TV's Jason Sloss reports.
Samaritan's Purse is a relief organization responding to disasters all over the world. They've dispatched teams to Whatcom County to ease the burden of flood victims.
So the water level was right about here.
By removing drywall, sheetrock, insulation, and cleaning out crawl spaces.
It's really just setting up these families to be able to rebuild their homes after the disaster.
What's going through your mind as you're watching this group go through? And
this is God's blessing these people, right?
Samaritan's Purse says more work requests are coming in daily. After a delayed start to the ski season, Crystal Mountain, White Pass, and Mission Ridge are all open thanks to heavy snow. Stevens Pass has not yet set its opening day. This weather update brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. Rainy and windy today with highs in the upper 40s. It's 43 in downtown Seattle. I'm Heather Bosch.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with the KIRO Newsradio App. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO Newsradio, Northwest News.
This is the Gee and Ursula Show with G. Scott and Ursula Reutin.
Welcome, 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 and happy Monday to all of you. Thank you so much for joining us here on the Gee and Ursula Show. Gee is out today. Have you noticed a lot of people are sick, Chef?
Yeah.
There are a lot of people.
Yeah,
who are
my
fighting
kids
something.
were virtually all of Matthew's friends are down and out right now.
Ugh.
Yep.
Anyway, I'm hoping that if you are listening right now, I hope that you are doing okay, because definitely lots of stuff going around right now. And it's just, the timing is so bad. Hey, coming up at 10:30, we're going to have Heather join us to talk about a really cool story that you're not going to want to miss. I think it's just wonderful. And as always, we invite you to join us on our text line, 888-973-5476, 888-973 KIRO. I found out last hour, Chef, that I'm not the only one that feels this big, heavy weight lifted when we can say we are starting to have more light again.
It is worth celebrating. It's looking up.
Absolutely.
It's looking up.
Absolutely. Again, text us, 888-973-5476, 888-973 KIRO.
What's new at 10?
And as you know, back-to-back atmospheric rivers didn't just soak Western Washington. Our roads are messed up now. There were landslides, and all that water left entire stretches of roads and bridges hanging by a thread. And lawmakers in Olympia have a big question to answer. Can our state use its climate dollars to help fix this catastrophic damage? And those dollars come from Washington's Climate Commitment Act, money paid by energy companies and the federal government meant to cut greenhouse gas emissions. And just in the last couple of years, that new law raised more than $4 billion. But whether it can be used to repair storm-damaged roads depends on who you ask. And this is coming out of the Seattle Times. Democratic leaders say no, those climate funds are meant to prevent future harm, not clean up after disasters. But Republicans argue that this is actually climate fallout. And fixing washed out roads and bridges could actually reduce emissions by cutting long detours. Governor Ferguson says the state already has other money available. And last week he announced that he was asking for money from the federal government, also gas tax revenue, and a long-term road maintenance plan. And the governor says the climate dollars should stay focused on resilience and not repairs. What say you?
Let's see. We can all agree. I think 99% of us can agree that climate change is happening. Whether or not it's human caused, I think is what some people still have stipulations over. There's great scientific consensus, but I don't want to get into that. We can acknowledge the fact that there are things happening in our state right now. Wildfires, floods that are being made worse, not expressly caused by, but made worse and exacerbated by climate change. So yeah, if we have a $4 billion pot of cash to use to help communities when they need it most, let's use it.
I agree with the Republicans in this.
Why not?
Why wouldn't you? I mean, right now, yes, you could actually reduce emissions. I mean, we're talking, how do you get to Leavenworth right now?
I-90 to Blewett Pass.
Right.
And then, yeah.
Because
an entire highway is closed.
Exactly, is closed right now. And speaking of the Climate Commitment Act, did you hear what they're doing in Oregon?
Yes. Yes, I did.
So the Democrats in that state are quietly considering something that would have been unthinkable even just a couple of months ago. They're talking about repealing their own gas tax hike. And this is, according to reporting from Willamette Week, a 6 cent per gallon gas tax passed earlier this year. And there has been a tremendous backlash. Republicans and anti-tax groups have already gathered nearly 200,000 signatures, which is more than they need to force the tax onto the 2026 ballot. And in the meantime, that money is frozen.
Why can't we do that here?
Thank you.
I think anyone listening knows I am probably the farthest left on this show. And I, for the love of God, cannot come up with what the Climate Commitment Act and those $4 billion have actually bought for us taxpayers. Ursula, off the top of your head, can you pin down one thing that we've got?
No. And if there is something, and I'm sure people who are involved with that would be able to say it, but they're not doing a good job of sharing that information. If you or I, working in this business, couldn't explain to our listeners right now, this is where that money is going. Right now, I can tell you that we have among the highest gas taxes in the country. I can tell you that actually it has gone down a little bit. I mean, the cost of gas, because I just filled up, but it's still too expensive. And I think that when Governor Inslee, former Governor Inslee, said it was just going to be a few pennies, I think he was flat out lying.
That was horse hockey. That was
yes.
Yeah. I mean, I can tell you a little bit of what it is supposed to be spent for.
Yeah.
So we're supposed to get electric ferries. I think one has been sort of converted, but it doesn't still work. Where are the ferries? They've bought some electric school buses, like $50 million worth. Free transit for youth costs about $189 million a year. There's maybe $50 million to $100 million in EV charging that has been, and then even when Inslee came on our show during the last year of his term, and we asked, okay, what are we getting for this? And he basically fumbled it, and he said, well, there's people who are getting, heat pumps and low-income communities. What are you talking about? There's the $200 one-time energy credit for low-income families. I cannot think of one thing that is improving my life or your life that we are getting out of this. Mm-hmm. And the things that could improve our lives, like, hey, you know what? Electric buses, that might be nice for the kids. They're not choking on the diesel exhaust. Great. That's not a huge chunk of money. Mm-hmm. Why is there this orthodoxy within Washington State Democrats that the Climate Commitment Act is something that we have to stick to? This is a Governor Inslee legacy.
Yeah.
Ferguson has clearly picked it up and said, hey, we're going to roll with it. Senator Jamie Peterson. And it's like a sacred cow.
Right. And meantime, again, we're paying way too much. And here is a situation where a huge number of people in this region have been severely impacted. Mm-hmm. And you could use that money for help right now and still justify it.
I don't disbelieve Governor Ferguson when he says that there are other pots of money available, but it's good to bring up this conversation. But when it comes to the Climate Commitment Act, let me just ask you something very basic. Do you believe that Washington State reducing its emissions can move the needle on climate change? If you believe, of course, that climate change is human caused.
Well, I am a believer that we have to do something, but is this the route that is best? I mean, I think it just individually, we each have to do something. But, I mean, you look at the pollution coming from a country like China, for example.
Right. This is a collective problem that Washington State cannot solve on its own.
It cannot do it on its own.
And,
but just because you can't do it on its own doesn't mean you abandon all efforts altogether.
No, I want money spent on mitigating the effects of climate change, right? So, planting a lot of trees in areas where there's no tree cover, getting homeowners help to get defensible space around their house and fireproof them, basically, because we actually have urban interface fires like happened in Palisade. Those will happen here. I want money to help us weather what's coming, not try and prevent it or slow it down, because we can't do that on our own. In the same way that, Washington State can't run federal programs. It just doesn't work at scale. Because we're one state, 7 million people, we're a drop in a bucket.
Yeah, that's true. Hey, hippie Mike from Stevens Pass says, yes, please use those funds. I'm looking at a 4.5-hour drive from my house in Merritt to Monroe just to spend Christmas with my girlfriend.
Man.
And someone else, Todd and Burien, said, have you seen the pictures of that stretch of Highway 2?
Yes.
It's not just closed. I mean, it's
caved out entirely.
It's shocking.
Yeah.
I mean, it truly is shocking. You should check out pictures if you get a chance. Okay, this was a story that Heather talked about last week. And when I heard it in her news reports, I was like, man, this sounds horrific. And we're now learning new details about what started as a routine walk to the bus stop turned into a fight for life in Kitsap County. It was last Tuesday. 4 pit bulls attacked a Rhodesian Ridgeback named Jasper in the middle of the street, and neighbors say they heard screams for help and ran toward what one of them described as the most animalistic, barbaric scene they had ever witnessed.
Hey! Sir! Get in your car! Hey! Go!
People jumped in to try to save the dog. At least 6 neighbors were bitten, some seriously injured. One woman told KIRO 7 she was walking her daughter to the bus stop when she rushed in and ended up with a bandaged hand after she was also bitten. Bear mace was sprayed. 911 was called. Neighbors say the dog's owner was there but couldn't get the pit bulls under control. And even with all these people trying to intervene, they couldn't stop the attack. And the dog Jasper later died from his injuries. And animal control has now taken the dogs. And the sheriff's office confirms that this was not their first reported incident.
Oh, my goodness.
And so I guess my question is, what should happen to the owner and what should happen to the dogs?
Well, the dogs will have to be put down.
Yes.
They will. I mean, as a dog owner, that's something, unfortunately, that I've always been aware of is if my dog bites someone, even if that person provokes my dog, it's my dog who's going to have to pay the price. I believe that this person will get charged under Washington's dangerous dog law. I'm not sure what the penalties are for that, but according to Fox 13, there are some charges that they're looking at.
Oh, so they're looking at, though, but
yes,
not
has not been referred
because
as of yet.
Here's my question. Again, another question. If animal control or the sheriff's office has reports of incidents with these dogs, I mean, there are multiple pit bulls, and I know that it's controversial I mean, I will admit that when I'm around pit bulls, I'm just nervous, even though, people will say it's not the breed, it's the actual owner and how they're raised and et cetera. But this was not the first reported incident. And why is it that under that dangerous animal ordinance, you have to wait until something actually happens? Like someone gets seriously injured or a dog is killed.
See, this is really hard because let's say, Ursula, that you have a neighbor just doesn't like dogs, right?
I love dogs, by the way.
Scooter gets out of the yard, gets out of your house somehow or out of the yard, and he's wandering around the neighborhood, and the neighbor's like, that dog bit my child. And that gets called in, and if they respond to it as you're proposing, that means that Scooter is likely put down, right? You get into a situation where you might have dogs that are not acting inherently dangerously. Maybe you have a little kid who leaves the yard open, and the dog goes after a cat, and all of a sudden that's a nuisance animal that has to be, quote, destroyed. That's a really tough call, because for a lot of people, that the animal is their family member. And I feel for pit bull owners. I love pit bulls. Like, I love a dog that you can throw around, you can wrestle with them. It's a lot of fun. And my understanding is that they're not necessarily inherently more aggressive. It is that they're inherently stronger.
Yes.
With stronger bite force. So if a
Yes.
Chihuahua goes after you, there's going to be minimal damage. It's the equivalent of an SUV to, an e-scooter.
Or exactly. Yeah, right. Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, I looked it up too, because I was like, okay, this is my feeling, but what's the actual situation? And disproportionate number of injuries, severe injuries, involve pit bulls.
Yes.
But again, it's not inherently the breed. There's more, so I mean, there's a lot of study that goes into that, but that's just horrific.
Yeah,
I mean, it sounds like I would just be like, what can you do when you can't stop it and you're trying? It's amazing that these people jumped in.
8 people injured. I mean, you're talking, this is basically a pack attack. I think there are three pit bulls, and those are ferociously strong animals.
Yes, for
that
sure.
Must have been incredibly brave.
Absolutely. Okay, we're going to lighten things up because, on Saturday night, I was kicking myself because I was so busy shopping that I forgot to get myself a Powerball ticket.
That was probably the cheapest thing on your list.
I was like, if someone wins, I'm going to be so mad that I didn't.
They would have taken that opportunity from you. You would have.
Yeah, right?
Absolutely.
I know. Well, the Powerball jackpot didn't go on Saturday, so now it has climbed to an estimated $1.6 billion. It's one of the largest in U.S. history, and the next drawing is tonight. So this is your warning, everybody. A lot of folks are dreaming about what they would do with all that money.
My wife encourages me to buy a ticket because she wants to go on a big trip and she wants to do something good in society. And she thought, well, we can do both if we win, for crying out loud. In fact, what would we do with all that money anyway? You've got to give some of it away.
Okay, so I want to ask all of you listening right now, and you in studio, including Nick, if you did win, and of course you have to buy to have a chance of winning. If you did win, what would you do with all that money? Do you even go down that road, like dreaming what you would do?
No, honestly, like, I would probably destroy myself.
What?
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
If I had the kind of money that I'm being dead serious though. This happens to a lot of people. I mean, some people can handle this kind of stuff, but I mean, thank God I'm married. I think Gabby would probably keep me in line. Yeah. But that's like, I wouldn't want a lump sum of nearly $1 billion. Oh, yeah. What do you do?
Yeah. Okay. I've already thought it through. I mean, that travel is going to be a huge part of it. I would make sure my immediate family was good. As in they would get a big chunk of change so that they wouldn't have to worry. When I say immediate family, I'm talking about sons. Obviously my husband and I would be together on this. And I would talk about my remaining siblings and their offspring.
And Nick.
And I would be generous with you and Nick.
I mean, I think we would all, do our fair share, spreading the wealth around if we ended up winning.
Yeah, but I would also hire an attorney. That would be the first.
Okay.
First. Nick, what would you do? What are the first on your
right
list?
off the bat, I think I would get into the property game. Establish my money into areas that I want to be, or I would, rent out properties because, you can gain more that way, and you're not holding on to a bunch of cash and being stressed out about what do I do with it,
Wait, you would want to earn more money with your nearly $1 billion lump sum payment?
That wouldn't be the primary reason. It would be so.
He's thinking of generations to come.
I would just want less money on hand, so I wouldn't be, having so many people. Hey,
Yeah.
Sorry, it's already invested in property. It would still be so much money. You'd still not know what to do with it, even after buying a bunch of property. So, I'd buy my parents' cars. I'd make a
Yes.
list of who
You'd make
are,
it rain, right?
Yeah.
I know.
I've always thought you got to make the list of like the people that you know and love that deserve those, fair shares, and you got to make sure it's well thorough.
Is there any chance?
Anthony in Tacoma says, "Don't worry, Ursula and team. If I win Powerball, I'll share with you all." Anthony, you're covered too.
We should have a pact, right? I'll
Okay,
get you
tell us.
later.
The list just gets longer and longer.
I know. The first thing I need to do is actually get a ticket. Okay, still ahead. Heather's going to join us. It's a story you don't want to miss. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
Here we go. Darnold has time. Looks inside. It's caught! The Seahawks win the game!
Playoff berth?
An instant classic. This is who we are. That's Seahawks football.
Check.
Probably the craziest game I've ever seen.
With the playoffs looming, what's next?
We're always going to fight.
Complete coverage at mynorthwest.com.
They now have the inside track on having the best record in the NFC.
And the home of the Seahawks, KIRO News Radio on 97.3 FM.
If you have a family like I do, you know your car has to do a lot for your family, and that is why I have trusted Subaru to keep our families safe. I drive an Outback. It's been perfect for us. We bought it at Carter Subaru, and it was actually the second car that our family purchased from that dealership, and it's because of their fantastic customer service. They are the reason that we will keep coming back. Right now, they've got the largest selection in the state, including the 2025 Subaru Crosstrek with 1.9% financing for 72 months on approved credit. And I love this time of year because it is the Subaru Share the Love event when Subaru will donate $250 for every new car purchased to one of 6 charities, including Treehouse and Paws. You are driving home in something wonderful, very reliable, and you're doing a lot of good at the same time. Go visit Carter Subaru in Shoreline or Ballard or get started at cartersubaru.com.
On approved credit, subject to vehicle insurance and availability. A documentary service fee may be added to the sale price or capitalized costs. See dealer for details. Valid through 12/31/25.
Xfinity is the network you can rely on. Like a close friend who will give it to you straight. The friend who will tell you that new haircut, it's not great. Friends make sure friends get good haircuts. And Xfinity makes sure you get a good deal on Wi-Fi. Xfinity gives you reliable fiber-powered Wi-Fi at our best price. This holiday season through January 4th, get gig speed Wi-Fi for just $50 a month for 5 whole years. No strings, no commitments. Just super fast, reliable gig speed Wi-Fi with our best equipment and unlimited data included. Save yourself from questionable decisions and save over Verizon and AT&T. Xfinity. Imagine that. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and autopay with stored bank account. Taxes and fees extra. Xfinity Internet powered by fiber and connected to premises by coaxial cable. Actual speeds vary.
What a good move I made. Let me tell you a quick story. I've done a whole bunch of races and a bunch of other stuff like that, and my left hip started bothering me about 5 years ago. And I go to the doctor, and he's like, you need a hip replacement. I was like, I'm 60. Yeah, we're going to ask you to wait a little while because we don't want you to wear the hip out. We want you and the hip to go into the grave at the same time. I said, what do you do about all this pain? Well, you could, aspirin, and you could continue to do this and that and, sleep with a pillow between your legs. I was like, no, I don't want to do this. Then I was talking to Bob Stelton over there at the sports department. So he went to Dr. Mark Wagner, and I think he had his hip done as well. So I go in there. I said, hey, Dr. Wagner, can you fix my hip? Takes a look at the MRI. Yes. So I got the stem cell procedure. I'm telling you something. This is the best. If you've been thinking about, surgery for your knee, your wrist, your shoulder, or hip, no. Check out Dr. Mark Wagner and go to drmarkwagnermd.com. That's drmarkwagnermd.com.
Hey there, Dawn Riling with Olympic Hot Tub. This holiday, treat yourself to the best present of all, a hot tub from Olympic. Through Christmas Eve, our Santa Loves a Smart Top event will save you up to $4,800 on your new tub and include an amazing smart top for free. This awesome hardcover handles Northwest weather, locks in heat, and looks fantastic. Santa loves a smart top, and so will you. It's the perfect gift to put under the tree. Details at olympichottub.com. Better you, better life.
So Pure Talk just had their best year ever and asked me if I'd like to thank their customers on their behalf for being so awesome. I said sure. It's important to say thanks, especially this time of year, which is why, as one of their many satisfied customers, I should probably thank Pure Talk first for keeping their customer service in this country and for providing hundreds of American jobs. I appreciate that. I also appreciate their Roundup program, which makes it easy to support America's Warrior Partnership and join the fight against veteran suicide. And I love that Pure Talk donated 1,000 hand-sewn Made in America flags to veterans around Independence Day. And of course, I really appreciate their generous support of my own foundation, MicroWorks, and their commitment to help us train the next generation of skilled workers. Having said all that, it's now my pleasure, on behalf of everyone at Pure Talk, to thank you sincerely for choosing to do business with an American wireless company that actually stands for something. And one more thing. Merry Christmas.
John Curley here. We value things that last. Local businesses, relationships, community. That's Madrona Financial and CPAs. They've been serving Washington families for decades, combining taxes and investments under one roof. Most firms just do one or the other, but not both. That's why Madrona offers the Madrona Analysis, a simple review of income, taxes, and investments in one plan. Call 833-673-7373 for your complimentary Madrona Analysis. Madrona Financial and CPAs. Local, trusted, and here to put the whole picture together.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning, I'm Heather Bosch.
We'll be keeping an eye on this very closely.
KIRO News Radio meteorologist Ed Beener on a storm that is expected to blow in this week.
That low hugging the Washington coast and moving up into Vancouver Island in the evening hours of Christmas Eve.
He says it's forecast to bring gusts of 40 to 60 miles per hour. Those winds should die down, though, by Christmas morning. Holiday lights are back on in Leavenworth following winter storms. Earlier this month, we spoke with Mayor Carl Flory after the weather forced the cancellation of Christmastown for a couple of days.
Our economy is so dependent on this Christmas season.
The city tells KIRO 7 TV businesses are welcoming visitors again, but storm recovery continues. Governor Bob Ferguson says just basic maintenance on our roads and bridges is long overdue.
Everybody likes a ribbon cutting for a brand new structure, but we have neglected this core mission of our government for too long, and we need to reprioritize and focus on the needs that we have.
He wants to spend $3 billion to pave highways, repair bridges, and build 3 new ferries. The money, he said, would come from bonds backed by new taxes and fees lawmakers approved this year. Nurses at Seattle Children's Hospital are taking what they call a last resort step and voting on whether or not to authorize a strike. Today's vote follows an informational picket, a full-page ad in the Seattle Times, and a social media push from Mayor-elect Katie Wilson urging the hospital to bargain in good faith.
They've had our backs, and now it's time that we have theirs.
A Seattle Children's spokesperson tells KIRO News Radio that the hospital is dedicated to working with the Washington State Nurses Association to reach a fair agreement as soon as possible. Hospitals are seeing a lot of this.
This flu season is no joke.
Dr. Amanda Kravitz at Weill Cornell in New York City. She says there's a particularly tough strain of the virus going around.
We are seeing more cases than we would expect for this time of year.
The CDC estimates there have been 4.6 million flu cases across the U.S. since the beginning of the season. 1,900 patients have already died from it. Seattle's longest-serving police chief has died at the age of 95. Patrick Fitzgibbons was a former New York cop who served in Seattle from 1979 to 1994. The Seattle Times says he took over after the city was shaken by a gambling and vice protection racket that involved high-ranking members of the SPD. On Wall Street, the Dow was up 263 points, NASDAQ ahead 123. KIRO News Radio traffic in Sultan. It is a 3-car injury crash that's blocking all lanes of US 2 westbound and eastbound at Fern Bluff Road. Troopers are on scene there. US 2 is blocked from Skycomish to Leavenworth due to storm damage. Blewett Pass has compact snow and ice. Traction tires are advised. No oversized vehicles. Snoqualmie Pass, bare and wet. No restrictions. White Pass, snow and slush in places. Traction tires advised. No oversized vehicles there. Traffic brought to you by the Emerald Queen Casino. The ultimate tribute to rock, Hairball, comes to the Emerald Queen Casino April 2nd. Tickets at emeraldqueen.com. This weather update brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. Rain and wind today with highs in the upper 40s. It is 43 in downtown Seattle. I'm Heather Bosch.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
This
This is the Gee and Ursula Show. I just got a sweet text message from Gee, who is unfortunately dealing with a sore throat right now. I just heard Heather's newscast talking about a lot of people being sick. And if you are also one of those feeling under the weather, I hope you have a quick recovery. This is not a good time to get sick. But this is a beautiful story. An effort to revive a language is rejuvenating a culture, one that has deep roots here in the Pacific Northwest. And our own Heather Bosch tells us more.
As waves caress the shores of Puget Sound, the descendants of the region's earliest residents hear the words created by their ancestors.
They heard what the waves said and went, "Hulch, hulch." And that's what our people call the saltwater or Puget Sound. Hulch.
Tradition says their language came directly from the environment around them.
They went to the crow and they said, "What's your name?" "What's that? Tell me your name." And the crow said, "Ka, ka." And so that's what our people call the crow.
Zalmai Zahir is a language consultant and member of the Puyallup tribe of Indians, and he's speaking Lushootseed. Lushootseed and its dialects are spoken by 13 of the region's tribes. It is a language that is intrinsically tied to their music, stories, and culture. But there was a time when voices of those who spoke this language were nearly silenced.
Language of our people is our identity. And for so many years, the government tried to take our identity away from us.
Sylvia Miller is vice chair of the Puyallup tribe. She explains, as settlers pushed into the region in the 1800s, tribes weren't just losing land, they were losing their words.
Our children were put in boarding schools, and if they spoke the language or sang a song or even hummed or drummed anything, of their culture, they would literally be punished severely.
Even after the boarding schools were shuttered, she says fear of embracing the language lingered.
My uncle would try to give us names, our Indian names, and my mother wouldn't. I'd say, "What is he saying?" And she would not allow us to know what was going on because she didn't want us to be punished like they were when they were children.
Miller says she can't point to one sentinel moment, but eventually those fears began to ease and were replaced by a desire to revive the language.
Who wouldn't want to speak your ancestral language?
Amber Hayward is director of the Puyallup Tribal Language Program, established in 2007 to teach Lushootseed. There were few fluent speakers at the time. However,
we are blessed to be able to have actual audio recordings of first language speakers. Not everybody has that, but we do.
She says something happens when you learn your ancestral language from your own people. You learn your stories, traditions, and culture too, like this creation history, which Hayward translated for a lesson online.
They went down to the water to circle around the food.
The language program hosted a storytelling night where actors dressed as a bear and rabbit drew giggles from families.
Rabbit and grizzly bear were walking. He was a big bear. After a while, they appeared in a lake over there in the mountains. And the name the first people had for this lake is Kechil.
Hayward says tribal members are being reconnected to their culture through their language.
I would say that all of us in our department maybe didn't participate as much in culture or sing or dance. And then when we started speaking the language, now we do all of that.
The language program serves the tribal community with resources available for others online. Miller was adamant the tribe not limit who would be taught Lushootseed, arguing
Hispanics don't have to be Hispanic to learn the language. Everybody should learn this language. It should be out at the schools where all those children can learn it. Whole language will not exist if we don't push it everywhere.
And Lushootseed is becoming more prevalent.
We are very joyful to see you all for the unveiling of the Dokwi Bus street signs.
As heard in a City of Tacoma video, Lushootseed words are being added to English street signs at 61 intersections. Mayor Victoria Woodard.
This is more than just a name. This is a story of a people.
Zahir is a firm believer in sharing and learning languages.
You will find that the more multilingual you are, the more your brain expands.
Because you're looking at things in a different way and experiencing them through language in a different way.
That's right. That's right.
One example rests in the region's iconic Mount Rainier. The Puyallup tribe commissioned Zahir to write a paper about the correct traditional name for Mount Rainier. What he found was several names, but many connected to one central concept.
Takoma, and there are several different variations of that form.
Which means?
The unique source to go fetch or dip water.
Water, of critical importance to the area's earliest residents.
This is a nurturing liquid that flows from the mountains that nurtures all life.
Life from the mountains to the ocean, as said in the language of our region's first people. Heather Bosch, KIRO News Radio.
And Heather is here in studio. First of all, beautiful story. Thank you for bringing it to us. And I'm just curious, what made you want to do this story?
You know, I've always been fascinated with languages and got to be thinking about how closely some languages are linked to a particular culture, which we don't necessarily have in the United States because we're a fairly new country with a lot of transplants. So that's when I started looking at, well, you know, why don't I talk with people, Native Americans who were here before the rest of us, and what their language means to them, whether they have words that are unique, and, you know, come to find out how closely their language, even the sounds of their language, mirror the world around them. I found that absolutely fascinating.
It truly is.
Heather, I don't know if you speak another language, but, you know, I speak some Spanish. It is impossible to learn another language and not change how you see the world.
Yes.
Because the very words that you use shape your understanding of the world. So, like, for example, in English, emotions are permanent. I'm angry, right? Versus in Spanish, estoy enojado, meaning like I am feeling angry now. It's a temporary situation. And I love the idea of bringing this out beyond the tribes, because we do the land acknowledgments, etc., in a lot of places, like including my own church, but our actual connection to those tribes is, I've never had a Native friend. I've never had a Native colleague or coworker. I mean,
I have, and
I have as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We remember the same person who, and it was wonderful. But we don't get exposure to that culture. And as you said, they were our region's first people.
You know what's really fun is talking to some of these younger people, like Amber Haywood, who didn't grow up with the language, but she says now she hears people talking Lashutsi in the local Walmart, and they're just like, "Wow, that hadn't happened before." So it is starting to spread.
That's super cool. I
love it.
Yeah.
And I also support the idea of changing Mount Rainier to Mount Tacoma. No one would think of calling Denali McKinley anymore. Same thing with Mount Hood down in Oregon was called Wy'east.
And their name for it is so profound, you know, life-giving water versus here's somebody's name and we're going to slap someone's name on this thing because we
never
can.
stepped foot on this continent.
Yeah.
Okay, we'd love to hear what you think. Jerry in the 206 just texted and said, best story ever.
Oh, thank you.
Great work.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate it. Okay, still ahead. Gee's not here, but we will do scenarios. That's next on the Gee and Ursula Show.
Happy holidays and Merry Christmas, everyone. It's John Curley from KIRO Radio's John Curley Show. Remember, the greatest present you can give is yourself. Your presence is the greatest present. Besides, it's really hard to re-gift your Uncle Bob. It makes a lot of noise in the box. From all of us here at KIRO Radio and the John Curley Show, have yourself a Merry Christmas and, of course, a Happy New Year.
From KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM.
I am a repeat customer at Carter Subaru for a reason. As you know, I drive a Subaru Outback, and it's been perfect for our family. It's safe, it's comfortable, and it's built for real life here in the Pacific Northwest. Carter Subaru is Seattle's only Subaru dealership. It's family-owned, and it is rooted in this community, which is important to our family. They don't just sell cars. They show up for the people who live here. Right now, you can get the 2025 Subaru Crosstrek with 1.9% financing for 72 months on approved credit. it, and it's the perfect time to buy a car because it's the Subaru Share the Love event. For every new Subaru purchased, Subaru will donate $250 to one of 6 charities, including our hometown favorite, Treehouse. So yes, you're going to get a great car, but you're also giving back right here at home. Visit Carter Subaru in Shoreline or Ballard or start online at cartersubaru.com.
On approved credit, subject to vehicle insurance and availability. A documentary service fee may be added to the sale price or capitalized costs. See dealer for details. Valid through 12/31/25.
An illegal alien from Guatemala charged with raping a child in Massachusetts. An MS-13 gang member from El Salvador accused of murdering a Texas man. A Venezuelan charged with filming and selling child pornography in Michigan. These are just some of the heinous migrant criminals caught because of President Donald J. Trump's leadership. I'm Kristi Noem, the United States Secretary of Homeland Security. Under President Trump, attempted illegal border crossings are at the lowest levels ever recorded, and over 100,000 illegal aliens have been arrested. If you are here illegally, you're next. You will be fined nearly $1,000 a day, imprisoned, and deported. You will never return. But if you register using our CBP Home app and leave now, you could be allowed to return legally. Do what's right. Leave now. Under President Trump, America's laws, border, and families will be protected.
Sponsored by the United States Department of Homeland Security.
You gave years, maybe decades to your job. You showed up, worked hard, and planned for retirement. But now the company's changed. Or maybe you've taken a buyout or been forced into early retirement. So what happens next? I'm Jeff Jr., founder of Trajan Wealth. And if you've built up a 401k or thrift savings plan, now is the time to ask, is that money really working for you? Many workplace retirement plans offer limited options and even less guidance. At Trajan Wealth, we help people just like you roll over their accounts into IRAs with more flexibility and personalized investment strategies built around your goals. For households with $500,000 or more, let us build you a personalized plan. We operate on veteran values, service, trust, and doing what's right. Your next chapter starts now. Call Trajan Wealth, 206-656-3300, 206-656-3300.
Advisory services offered through Trajan Wealth, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor.
CVS Health supports people in the moments that matter, from picking up a prescription to connecting care. With nearly 5 million daily interactions and serving 185 million consumers and 1.5 million healthcare professionals, CVS Health holds a trusted place in healthcare. By simplifying care and improving health, we're helping people get the care they need. Learn more at cvshealth.com/Investor Day. This message comes from Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, destination-focused dining, and cultural enrichment on board and on shore. With small ships that bring travelers closer to the destination, there's more time to explore. And every Viking voyage is all-inclusive, with no children and no casinos. Discover more at Viking.com.
Guys, leave weight gain, low T, and ED in 2025. For a limited time, Revive Men's Health Washington is offering free full diagnostic panels, a $400 value. It checks testosterone, blood sugar, cholesterol, kidney, liver, thyroid, and heart health. Plus, qualified patients get up to 25% off select treatments now through year end. Call 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com today.
It is 10:47. It is time for scenarios.
Here we go, yo. Here we go, yo. So what's the scenario?
Boy, do I need some help. My husband and I have been scraping together pennies for 6 months to buy our 10-year-old son the brand new gaming console that he has been begging for. It was going to be the big gift from Santa, our magic moment, and we explicitly told both sets of grandparents, don't buy him electronics, we're getting him a console. 2 days before Christmas, my mother-in-law stops by. She hands my son a giant wrapped box and lets him tear it open early. It's the console.
No
My
way.
son is screaming with joy, hugging grandma. She looks at me and she says, oh, well, I know you guys were tight on money, so I wanted to make sure that you guys had a little bit of extra comfort room, so you can just return yours and use your money for the bills. Do I tell my son the truth that grandma hijacked our gift Or do I swallow my pride, return the gift, and let her win?
Don't tell the kid. Don't make it. Yeah, don't drag it sounds like mother-in-law was trying to do the right thing but went about it in the wrong way. And I don't know enough about the family dynamics here, but I will go with she was trying to do to help out the family. I would have a conversation with mother-in-law later and say, I appreciate what you're doing, but this is how I feel about it. And again, I know it comes from a good place, assuming it does. It comes from a good place, not trying to usurp parents' place in the child's heart kind of thing, but actually genuinely trying to help with the expenses. But I would not drag the son into it. Like, to tell him. So then what? Then now he's mad at grandma?
You are such a gracious person, a more gracious person than I am, because if grandma explicitly buys the thing for him that the parents were saving money for, do you know what grandma could have done? Grandma could have handed money. Mom and dad a check for $500.
Yes.
And they could use that money.
Yes.
I think you absolutely do tell the kid about it, because you know what? He's 10. He's old enough to realize and have conversations about emotional manipulation and financial manipulation, and how, some people will use means as a lever, either for goodwill or to try. Like,
at
look,
10 years old, you want a bird? And I'm sorry, but I'm going to tell you this much: as the person in my family that had the burden of listening to my parents go, at each other and trying to be a mediator and deal with all that stuff. That's too much for a kid to deal with. Maybe you can tell it later when they're an adult, but right now around Christmas time,
I'm not letting Grandma take the credit. I'm sorry. Maybe that makes me a tiny person, but you don't get to like swan in here and be like the fairy godmother and like provide this thing that I explicitly told you not to do.
So how do you think the kid feels then, the 10-year-old?
I think the kid walks away understanding that my grandma loves me. My parents love me.
And now they're fighting.
And sometimes grandma might do something that's going to be a little bit manipulative.
Again, I'm going to
hide it from him?
Because now you've taken away the joy. Now there's a guilty conscience, or there's a feeling of, oh my gosh, the thing that I really wanted, maybe I asked for too much because my parents were scrimping and scraping, and then grandma comes in and now they're mad at each other. Then it takes away from the joy of the gift. Just leave it.
Kid's going to be fine. He's going to be playing for thousands of hours on that thing.
Mark in Edmond says, Grandma pulled a really disrespectful move, but pick your battles. At the end of the day, it is about, it is about the kid, I'm going to guess. I just lost it because the text line is going crazy right now. Return it, use the money for the games. The kid's going to be fine. He has a console. Goodfellas says, sorry, Chef, don't complicate it. Disagree with Chef, don't tell the kid. 10 years is way too young. I'm telling you right now, that's just a burden you don't want to put on your 10-year-old. All they're thinking is, I'm happy with this gift.
If you legitimately have a family member who is emotionally manipulative, do you call that out? At what age do you let your child know
when they're not 10?
This is a thing.
Yeah, when they're not 10.
Or do they just all of a sudden in their 20s come to realize, oh gosh, this emotional manipulation that I've normalized and tolerated my whole life is a thing.
Did you say this was something that grandma always does?
I didn't say that.
There were
I'm
times,
implying it, though.
Yeah, you are. And there were times when my mother-in-law got our kids the things that maybe we would have purchased, and I was so thankful. Are you kidding me?
Really?
That was something that, let her take the credit. Absolutely. It's not about taking the credit anyway. Anyway.
Kind of is.
Nick?
For me.
Yeah, I don't think the focus is for that. But what a hairy case for me of naive relatives and enlarged egos. The message was so clear and in the open to Grandma. No tech presents. There were so many other directions that she could have gone with, either sweets, homemade goodies, Legos, movies, or even just straight cash, like you were saying. But you decided to say, Grandma, this is going to be my gift, my moment, and I'm stealing the thunder from Mama.
This magic moment.
I'm glad the kid is happy at the end of the day, but the message needs to be clear that the parents had the same thing in mind, and they're going to need a little time out and extra time to find something else now. Thanks, Grandma.
So you're more upset with Grandma. I mean, I understand how the parents feel. Like, hey, we told you this, and it's going to cause tension. But I just don't agree with dragging the kid in. Too young. John in Bremerton says, regarding the scenarios, if the parents were told that their parents giving the grandkid the gift, why didn't the parents just add their name to it or rewrap it? But no, it's like it sounds like that wasn't even an option.
Everybody agrees with you. I'm sticking to it, though.
You are. You're gonna tell Matthew that Grandma was manipulative, and this really was meant to be a present that your mom and I gave you. But now Grandma's taking credit, so I hope you still enjoy the console, but know that we're hacked off at Grandma. That's just not what a kid needs.
I'm okay having really difficult conversations with him.
Oh, you know I am too, but not this one.
I know.
Okay, text us 888-973-5476, 888-973 KIRO. We will have a lot more of the Gee and Ursula Show coming up next.
Sweeter than wine.
Thank you to all of our great KIRO News Radio listeners.
This is the moment.
For making the 37th year of Holiday Magic our biggest one yet.
It is a celebration that benefits Treehouse.
Thanks to your generosity and the important work of Treehouse, kids in foster care will have the holiday they wished for.
We ask you to give. You do. You always come through.
You can still donate. Just head to mynorthwest.com/holidaymagic.
It's a freezing night, and suddenly your heating dies. A fix could take several days or longer. Don't let this happen to you. If your system's 12 years or older, it's on borrowed time. Upgrade now to a dependable Mitsubishi electric heating and air conditioning system and keep your family comfortable. Schedule a consultation today at homecomfortalliance.com. For all your heating, cooling, plumbing, and electrical needs, visit homecomfortalliance.com. That's homecomfortalliance.com. And happy holidays to all.
Are you looking to hire? ZipRecruiter finds the best candidate for your job fast. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ziprecruiter.com/free.
KIRO FM and HD1, Tacoma, Seattle. Gee and Ursula agreed to disagree.
This is happening until we do a better job at addressing affordable housing.
We're spending more money on homelessness, and yet it does keep getting worse.
Weekday mornings at 11:06 on KIRO News Radio.
He was the heart of your family, and he taught you our history. He helped you fix your first flat. He was the best backyard DJ around. And every time he'd tell a story, he'd own the room. But now more than ever, he may feel alone. Today, older adults and their loved ones are struggling to connect in a time when connection has never been more important. But there is something we can do. Embrace our older loved ones through StoryCorps Connect. With StoryCorps Connect, you can honor seniors remotely with an interview about their life. Every interview will be archived at the Library of Congress, becoming part of American history, so that years from now, future generations can listen in.
All right, Grandpa, what's one piece of advice you have for me?
Just 3 words, sweetheart. Live with courage. The man that had the best stories still has plenty of stories to tell. So connect virtually and share the conversation of a lifetime at storycorpsconnect.org/AARP. Connect, honor, share. StoryCorps Connect. A message from AARP, StoryCorps, and the Ad Council.
You know the rush when you reach that goal? When something you've worked for pays off? That's success. At University of Maryland Global Campus, we believe you should never stop chasing it. That's why we offer a skills-based education that helps move your career forward. Learn how to apply emerging technologies like AI and data science. Build your leadership and critical thinking skills. Apply now and save with no application fee. Classes start January 7th. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime.
Our entry-level data plans start at just $20 a month. And for a limited time, switch and get your second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com or a store near you and get your second month free today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional details.
Your local volunteer fire department routinely answers the call, whether it be a fire, traffic accident, or a cat stuck in a tree. But because of declines in memberships, departments have become understaffed. Your local volunteer fire department desperately needs you. Can you direct traffic, install a smoke alarm, help at a fundraiser? No matter what skills you have, you can make a difference. You don't have to fight fire to be a volunteer. Will you answer the call? For more information on how you can help, visit the Volunteer Firefighter Alliance at supportvfa.org.
This is Lynn. She's always been active, maybe a little too active back in the day.
When I was 19 years old and immortal, I stripped out all my ligament and I had to have 6 knee surgeries, and that's on my right knee. And then my left knee finally gave out and had a torn meniscus.
Years of pain followed until she saw Dr. Mark Wagner at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine for stem cell therapy.
I'm 4 months out and I have no pain in my knees, and I have had knee pain my whole life. I have no concept of what it was like without pain. It's a miracle. I'm totally thrilled.
No pain, no limits.
Dr. Wagner gave me the green light to ski again this year. I'm like, that's incredible. So I'm just so excited.
After years of surgeries and setbacks, Lynn finally got her freedom back.
I think he saved my legs, so saved my knees, and gave me at least another 10, 15 years to do what I want to do.
If joint pain is holding you back, find out what stem cell therapy could do for you with Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. Schedule your consultation at drmarkwagnermd.com.
Your best source for local news. KIRO News Radio. KIRO FM and HD1. Tacoma, Seattle. Northwest News.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by CVS Health.
I'm Cammie McCormick. The Trump administration is halting offshore wind projects, something the president's long complained about. Stacey Lynn reports from Washington.
The administration said it's suspending leases for 5 offshore U.S. wind farms because of national security risks. The Interior Department didn't disclose the specific security issues raised by the Defense Department, instead pointing to unclassified federal reports that have found wind projects can create risks because the movement of turbine blades combined with their reflective towers can create radar interference. This interference, they say, can make it difficult to identify legitimate moving targets.
The Coast Guard is pursuing another sanctioned oil vessel off Venezuela. It would be the third taken by the U.S. this month. Olivia Rinaldi has the latest details.
We don't know too much. The timeline suggests that President Trump announced this new blockade on sanctioned oil vessels late last week. After that, we have seen a ramping up of interdicting of these vessels done by the U.S. Coast Guard. In a statement to CBS News, an administration official said the U.S. Coast Guard is in active pursuit of a sanctioned dark fleet vessel that is part of Venezuela's illegal sanctions evasion. They say that this ship is flying under a false flag and is under a judicial seizure order.
Today is a big travel day ahead of the Christmas holiday with millions of Americans in the air and on the roads. Our Chris Van Cleve is monitoring the getaway.
The 2.9 million or so that are expected to fly today should be smoother sailing for them than we saw over the weekend. On the roads, AAA expects the vast majority of the people that are going to travel to drive, about 110 million or so driving 50 miles or more between Christmas and New Year's. And they're going to find gas prices about 20 cents a gallon lower than they were a year ago.
Today's also a big day for retailers, reeling in those procrastinators.
I always save it last minute. I try to push it off as long as I can. Went to Nordstrom, the Lego store, Lululemon, the crowd, so many people. It made me feel like I'm not the only one that does the last minute Christmas shopping.
Supporters of Kilmar Abrego Garcia are gathered outside of Maryland Courthouse today. The hearing could determine whether he's returned to ICE custody. He was mistakenly deported to El Salvador, then detained again after being returned to the U.S. Checking the numbers on Wall Street at this hour, stocks are higher. The Dow Jones Industrial's up 228 points. This is CBS News.
Through trusted relationships and national reach, CVS Health is uniquely positioned to simplify care. Learn more at cvshealth.com/Investor Day.
Police search for a second vehicle involved in the death of a state trooper. But first, KIRO Newsradio traffic. In Sultan, a 3-car injury crash is blocking all lanes of US 2 westbound and eastbound at Fern Bluff Road. Troopers are on scene. US 2 is blocked from Skycomish to Leavenworth due to storm damage. Blewett Pass has compact snow and ice. Traction tires advised. No oversized vehicles there. Snoqualmie Pass is bare and wet. No restrictions. White Pass, snow and slush in places. Traction tires advised. No oversized vehicles. Traffic brought to you by the Seattle Mariners. This holiday season, give the gift of Mariners baseball. Grab tickets at mariners.com/tickets.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning, I'm Heather Wash. State Patrol Chief John Batiste says the state trooper killed Friday was the 5th trooper struck by vehicles within a week. Batiste spoke to KIRO 7 TV about notifying the family of 29-year-old Tara Marisa Guting.
I understand the grief that they're feeling because I'm feeling that same grief.
KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey has the latest on the investigation.
Police now say 2 vehicles struck 29-year-old state trooper Tara Marisa Guting as she worked an accident along State Route 509 in Tacoma. Spokesperson Shelby Boyd told KIRO 7 TV they want to talk with that second driver.
We want the full picture in doing this investigation, and that vehicle, that person is going to help us.
The vehicle they're looking for is a dark-colored Chevy Avalanche or Cadillac Escalade. It's a pickup truck-style SUV. We have a photo of it on mynorthwest.com. Luke Ducey, KIRO News Radio.
Puyallup police say a 4-year-old is in critical condition after the car his family was riding in was hit by a driver fleeing police. It happened yesterday after officers tried to contact the driver in a parking lot and he took off. They say they did not follow. A short time later, investigators say the suspect ran a red light and slammed into the family's car. The driver faces charges of vehicular assault. Governor Bob Ferguson is calling up 100 members of the National Guard to watch for levee problems along the White and Green Rivers in King County. That's where there were breaches last week. Catherine Sanborn is with the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers.
While the Green and White Rivers will start to slowly come down in the coming days, it is important for the public to know that water levels will stay above normal for several days.
A windy weather system is expected Christmas Eve. Cleanup from historic flooding continues across western Washington. KIRO 7 TV's Jason Sloss reports from Whatcom County.
Chris Sanders says he couldn't believe how quickly his house in Sumas filled with water.
By the time I get to the house from 50 feet away, it's right here.
Up to your thigh.
Up to the thigh.
So many people like Chris need help, and that's where a group like Samaritan's Purse comes in.
Seeing what can be salvaged, what has to be thrown away.
Samaritan's Purse is a relief organization responding to disasters all over the world. They've dispatched teams to Whatcom County to ease the burden of flood victims.
This weather update brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. Rainy and windy today with highs in the upper 40s. It's 48 in downtown Seattle. I'm Heather Bosch.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with a KIRO News Radio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
This is the Gee and Ursula Show with G. Scott and Ursula Reutin.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us here on the Gee and Ursula Show. Gee is out today unexpectedly, but he got hit with a bug.
Yeah.
So, Chef, you are here. Nick is here. The rest of the crew, we're here. And we are going to keep you company until the big holiday, which here's a random question. Are you thinking that this is going to be one of your more expensive holidays, or are you right about on track in terms of how much spending you've done?
I think it will be less expensive because we set a budget this year, and we're not buying anything big for each other because that's not really important to us. So,
nice.
Yeah, trying to keep it in line.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, text us 888-973-5476 888-973 KIRO. And you're right. I mean, the amount and what actually is under the tree is not nearly as important as the time you get to spend together.
Also, we made a decision to cancel our Amazon account after Christmas.
Is that for an indefinite period or
yeah,
forever?
indefinite, like both for financial reasons and for, I guess, moral ones. Because it's so easy to shop, and I don't agree with what a lot of the company does. So.
Man. And then I discovered TikTok shopping too. Ay, ay, ay. Oh, no. Too easy. Okay, text us 888-973-5476, 888-973 KIRO. Coming up at 11:30, we are going to do a special edition of Hell to the No. But right now... Oh, yeah. Look outside. I mean, I hope it's the case where you are, but right now I'm looking outside and I'm seeing sunshine. And this is something to hang on to because I say the worst is over in terms of the darkness, the big dark, because we have passed the shortest day of the year.
Yep.
And so winter solstice has passed this, and now we are going to be getting longer and longer days.
Yes.
You know, you might not notice it right off the bat, but man, do you get excited about getting past the 21st?
I do more and more.
Yeah.
I both love and hate this time of the year because it's like there's not enough light to be spending a lot of time outside. And so a lot of the stresses and the things that you feel like you have to do during the summer kind of go away. And you hunker down. I usually gain about 15 pounds or so. And, you ride out the winter. But it's impossible to have our beautiful summers here without the fact that we have very dark winters. So if you're in San Diego, for example, if you're in Ecuador, you get the same sunrise, 6 o'clock, same sunset, 6 o'clock, every single day of the year. Would you take that over having our beautiful Pacific Northwest summers and our very, very dark Pacific Northwest winters?
Depends. The answer depends on the time of year you ask. Right now, yes, I would. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, yes, I would. Because I am just someone who, my mood changes. I definitely am someone who has a big bounce in my step the more light we have. And even like being in my home, to have enough natural light coming in is a big thing. It is a mood lifter.
Yeah.
And when we go through the darkest time of the year, and we have the most beautiful summers in the Pacific Northwest. Absolutely. So if you ask me during the summertime, I wouldn't give that up for anything. But right now, as I'm thinking about it, it's tough. I mean, it's tough for some of, and you would happily exchange.
I mean, it's I would take what we have. I feel like you have to experience pain in life in order to truly experience joy. And I remember when I was 20-something, went to Ecuador for the first time and realizing the sun sets here at the same time every single day. And when it's sunny out, you don't appreciate it. It's just another day. When you're in San Diego, it's just another day, just like any other day. Oh, it's a little bit rainy today. That's different. Oh, it's a little bit hotter. But you don't even notice the weather anymore. And I cannot appreciate the beauty here without also experiencing the darkness.
Yeah, that's true. Hey, I just saw a text message from Barbara, and she makes a great point because, here I'm lamenting about, oh my gosh, it's dark right now, and we're just now finally getting into the longer days. It's getting better from here on out. And she says, today you've talked about power shopping, gift wrapping, but she says thousands of people are laid off and worried about heating and food, houses being flooded, finding a place to live and eat. And please remind people to be generous with food banks, give pet food, as pets are the first to go when funds are low. And Barbara, you absolutely are speaking truth. Because, here I'm lamenting about, I went shopping and I'm tired because I had to do some power shopping. Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of people, and you talked about cutting back a little bit. There are a lot of people who are like, I can't buy anything.
Yeah. Barbara, thank you for your note. And I can understand how sometimes on the radio we might seem out of touch. And that's something that I think that we're sensitive to. At the same time, you can acknowledge and be aware of, the pain and the hurt in the world and still try and find joy and hope and light.
Yes, this is true.
Hopefully that is something that we can bring you on the show, and that's something that we try to every day.
Well, on that note, have you sent out your Christmas cards yet? Or do you ever send out Christmas cards?
Come on.
That's Gabby.
Yes,
right?
It would be Gabby. We haven't done it for a couple of years,
but
though.
See, that's
things
another
are so busy.
thing, though. I mean, I feel like things are so busy, and one of the things that we didn't do this year, I've shared on our Gee and Ursula Show Facebook page, did not put up a tree, so I just have the little tinsel tree. But a lot of people shared pictures of their beautiful trees, and I thank you for that. And you can continue to do that because I know for a lot of folks, this is their go time, and putting up the decorations is something that they so look forward to, and that's what brings them joy.
Yes, it does bring light this time of year. The decorations, the tree, the cards, and Ursula, I'm a convert. I love Christmas cards now. I really do.
That's
we got
a convert since last week.
Yeah, we got a Christmas card from Mike in Portland.
Yes, thank you.
That was wonderful. Not just getting the card, but getting a little bit of a window into a listener's life and what they and their family are up to.
We got several.
I got a card from Frank over at mynorthwest.com. It was very sweetly written, had terrible penmanship, but the message was there. And you know what? Getting an unexpected boost, that's always a gift. And so even if I can't send them, I'm going to be grateful for receiving it.
Can I just shout out to all the people who continue to send those cards, even though you don't get one in return from the recipient? And I am guilty of that. I told you, like, one time I sent out Happy New Year's cards, and I was proud of myself. And I envy the people who are so organized and have, their lists out, and come Thanksgiving, the day after Thanksgiving, they're already starting with their holiday cards and their greetings. And I have received cards from families from, when their kids were just babies, and now the kids are in college, and they still, take the time to do that.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that, is both really special, and it takes a special person to be that organized.
What about the digital cards?
I'm okay with them.
You're okay with them? That means you acknowledge they exist, but
they take a little less time. I mean, they're a little less personalized.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think they're very similar to the cards that you get where you don't have anything written personally, but they'll send you the card of their beautiful family, and I love those. And it's very, very similar. I mean, you're not wasting. Like, how do you feel about them?
Being honest, I think I've clicked through on maybe 2 of them. And I have a wonderful family member who she's the most amazing woman, really the most amazing woman. I've gotten a lot of digital cards from her, and I hate to say it, but I haven't clicked on many of them. I don't know why, because they're not.
I read through every last word. I mean, I still want to get the updates. I mean, I still want to get the update from.
Oh, these haven't included updates. They've been like it's a animation of something beautiful surrounding the time of year.
But here's the positive way to look at it.
Isn't Facebook and social media a digital card?
Yeah, but they're actually specifically doing it to you.
True.
Facebook goes out to a lot of people you don't even know, you've never met in your life. Right?
Yeah.
But this one, they're telling you you're on their list.
Yes.
You're on the list. You made the cut for actually getting something somewhat individualized.
So I guess I will land on this. When I get a digital card, I acknowledge, it makes me realize, wow, this person's thinking about me. But the digital missive itself doesn't mean a whole lot.
Okay, let's talk about, because we're in the holiday spirit right now, let's talk about the Christmas party or the holiday party the company throws. Like, a lot of companies are bringing them back, but, given that we're talking about a lot of companies doing layoffs too, there are some companies that have kicked that to the curb. How important do you think a holiday party is for a company to have?
I think if your company is not doing well financially, it's a bad idea. I think it's a really bad idea to spend a bunch of money on some splash if you've seen someone that you used to work with and you look at their empty desk when you walk in. If your company is doing well, you know what? I'm a little bit of a convert on this one too. I would actually look forward to a company party now.
Really?
Yes, because I've worked here for so long. I'm genuinely interested in the people that I work with. Like, I love you. I love Nick. I love G. Heather, Luke, who's out there in the news. Like, all of these people are really interesting people. And like when we had a party at your house, when you had a party over the summer, it was great to talk to people
It really was.
outside of a work setting, not about work. Get to know the people that, are in their lives, their wives, spouses, kids, whatever. And I actually do enjoy that now.
Okay, but here's my question. And I want all of you listening right now to answer. And Nick, I'm going to ask you too. I know you're busy back there in your control room, but if you had a choice between the company bringing the holiday party back, the full-on holiday party where you go out somewhere, they rent a space, you have that, or having a much more scaled back thing, but getting the equivalent of what they would have sent at the party in a form of a check, like a bonus check. What would you rather have?
Is that even a question? Like, if I was a boss, again, I'm not now, I used to be, and I had the wherewithal and the ability, just walk around the office with like a shoebox full of cash. It's like, Nick, there you go, a couple hundred for you. Ursula, peel off a couple hundred for you. Everybody gets a bonus. Like, it's tangible. It's in your hand.
In your hand.
Thank you for working hard.
Yes.
I know that, raises haven't been good, but this is what we got. Food truck?
Give us a food truck at work.
Okay.
Do you see how people do around here when we have a food truck?
Yes.
Like, people love food.
They do.
But you don't have to actually go physically to a place and get all dolled up. I mean, that's an expensive thing for a company. If a company, on the one hand, you can't have a company doing layoffs and then saying, we're going to throw this extravagant party. I think that's a difficult position for management to explain.
I like food trucks, but they're not my favorite for catering because you always have to wait in a long line. And so there's this whole staggering.
Yeah.
Right, that happens. But food, I would take a food. You know what? I'm not going to sniff at any free food.
Please.
How about that?
Okay, one of our listeners from Steilacoom says, I've been with the company for 10 years, and this is the very first year management did not throw some sort of celebration for the staff. So the staff got together, and we did our own little get-together. And then management made it very clear they were not going to contribute anything. But then management still showed up.
Oh, screw that. No way.
Yeah, wait a minute.
So like
That's
Kevin
not
and
cool.
Steve are like, well, if you're gonna do an unsanctioned party, just know that no company resources shall be used.
Nick, what do you think?
Sounds like they're just taking and no receiving. I'm going with the food truck. If that's the case and they're not going to provide any food for you, or it's the option for them, at least provide a service that will be guaranteed for you. And if the bosses want to come along and join the fun, so be it. But it's a bad look for them if they're going to not provide anything and just join the fun with the food truck. I mean, at least they could pay for the food for you.
Shane brings up a good point. Holiday party, yes, as long as it's during the workday. Absolutely. Wait, during the workday.
You want the holiday party being at the... how would that work?
Well, I mean, most offices, right, everyone takes a couple hours off and they eat cake and have good food.
But then it doesn't feel special. I actually enjoyed it. When we would do an off-site party, people get decked out. It's a special thing. Families are able to come, like you can meet other people's families. That was really cool. But again, it's very expensive for a company.
Yeah. I guess I'm just inherently, I try to avoid extra events as much as possible.
And I understand that as well. Okay, every year the shelters beg people not to give pets as Christmas presents, and every year people do it anyway. And some families swear that their Christmas pet was the best decision ever made. But I ask you, is gifting a pet irresponsible or something that really just depends on the family?
I know shelters ask people not to do it, but I think that the type of people who are going to be irresponsible pet owners are going to be irresponsible pet owners regardless of whether they get the animal on as a Christmas gift or as a surprise. There's always going to be those people that, hey, I got you a dog without asking or seeing if it was really wanted. And if people can get an animal that brings them comfort and joy and peace this time of year, I don't know. I think it's beautiful.
Not just let's do this for the gram.
Yeah.
We're doing it for the pictures, and then pet is not really wanted and cared for, and it was just because you wanted to make a splash over the holidays, you have to have the right intention.
Adopting an animal, is that kind of like in your mind, like an engagement? Like you should know it's coming.
Yes.
You might not know when, but there's been lengthy discussion prior.
Yes, you know, it's a
everyone's aware that, this is a thing that's going to be happening in the future. But yeah, you can't in a spontaneous adoption of an animal.
Yeah, I think it requires a little more planning. Don't
Although,
do it on the last.
If I ran across, I'm driving somewhere and I saw a puppy on the side of the highway and just happened to needs help, I got to take it home. And it might just have to stay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, it's just one of those.
Has that ever happened? Because that actually happened in our family. When we were living in Eugene, my dad was on one of his company trips, and in the town of Hugo, he found a dog on the side of the road, brought him home.
Oh, really?
And our dog was named Hugo. Yes.
And you had him for the rest of his life?
Yeah, Weimaraner. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. It's a great dog, actually. Okay, the other question we have, how long should Christmas lights stay up for? You can text us that answer, 888-973-5476, 888-973 KIRO. It's another thing I didn't do this year. No Christmas lights. And you know
fine.
What? I'm happy. It's not out of protest. It's just didn't get around to it.
Yep, that's all right. Not every year.
More of the Gee and Ursula Show coming up.
This hour is brought to you by DUI Heroes.
Hey, we just want to wish you guys a very happy holidays, Merry Christmas, however you guys are celebrating with your families. You excited, Spike?
I'm very excited. From us here at the Jake and Spike Show and Laura, it's been a wonderful year getting to know you, the audience, and having you get to know us. We've got some great things behind us, but even more in front of us for 2026. I can't wait.
Right now, we're going to go home and spend some time with our families. I'm going to be in a house with a lot of loud kids. How are we going to celebrate? Have a wonderful Merry Christmas. I hope you have a great time with your families and that Santa brings you everything you want.
And a Happy New Year to all.
If you've lived in this area long enough, you know which businesses actually show up for the community and which ones just say they do. Carter Subaru has been part of the city for decades. Family-owned, locally rooted, and big believers in doing business with people who care about where they live. And right now, it is the Subaru Share the Love event. For every new Subaru purchased, Carter Subaru will donate $250 to one of 6 charities, including our hometown favorite, Treehouse. So yes, you're going to get a safe, reliable car, but you're also helping kids in foster care right here in our community. Carter Subaru is Seattle's only Subaru dealership with the largest selection in our state and a team that treats you like a person and not just a transaction. Right now, you can get the 2025 Subaru Crosstrek with 1.9% financing for 72 months on approved credit. Visit Carter Subaru in Shoreline or Ballard or start your journey at cartersubaru.com.
On approved credit, subject to vehicle insurance and availability. A documentary service fee may be added to the sale price or capitalized costs. See dealer for details. Valid through 12/31/25.
Start having fun. Caesar Sportsbook at Muckleshoot Casino Resort is your #1 place to eat, drink, watch, and have fun. Keep up with your favorite sports anywhere and everywhere on property with the mobile app. Visit muckleshootcasino.com today. Scan the QR code and let the play begin.
Muckleshoot.
You know us. We're the heating and air conditioning company with the big colorful logo and the recognizable trucks you see all over Western Washington. You know us as the company that believes in the good we're doing and the impact home comfort has on your personal happiness. In its 3rd generation, our family-owned business has been improving the lives of our customers every day since 1957. Call the experts in installation, service, and repair. Bob's Heating and Air Conditioning. Your family's comfort is our family's business.
The stock market was on fire in 2025 due to AI and tech stocks. Now is the time to set a strategy for 2026. It's a good opportunity to lock in those gains and invest into a stable platform. With $8 trillion in cash sitting on the sidelines, investors are either scared or unsure where to go. Hi, I'm Scott Rurecka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital in Bellevue. Legacy Group Capital develops local real estate, lends money, and shares the profits with our investors. Diversify with Legacy Group Capital. Invest into our Northwest Fund, which is currently delivering 9% on a fixed rate term. It's our flagship fund for 19 years with zero investor losses. And yes, we do accept IRAs. Find out why 1,300 local investors have invested over $350 million.
Legacy Group Capital at LegacyG.com. This is not investment advice. Investments available to accredited investors only. Details at LegacyG.com.
It's clogged again.
Your drain?
Just had it cleared.
You didn't call Apollo Plumbing.
How can you tell?
Because your drain's clogged again.
So frustrating.
We can clear that drain.
That's what the last guy said.
We'll clear it, guaranteed.
He said that too.
Apollo Plumbing will clear your drain or it's free.
Wait, what?
Apollo Plumbing clears your drain.
Or it's free?
Yep.
What's the catch?
No catch.
Fine print?
Apollo Plumbing clears your main drain for $83.
$83 or it's free?
And we'll even give you a camera inspection.
Because?
It's the best way to find what's causing your clog.
But that's extra.
Nope. Included.
No extra charge?
Not 1 cent.
$83 or it's free.
All it takes is an accessible outside cleanout.
And an Apollo plumber.
No clog is safe from Apollo Plumbing.
And just like that, my main drain is...
draining again.
How can you...
Apollo plumbers are that good.
$83 or it's free.
You call, we come.
My drain's draining again.
Guaranteed.
$83 or it's free.
As it should be.
Apollo Plumbing.
ApolloPlumbing.com.
Guys, leave weight gain, low T, and ED in 2025. For a limited time, Revive Men's Health Washington is offering free full diagnostic panels, a $400 value. It checks testosterone, blood sugar, cholesterol, kidney, liver, thyroid, and heart health. Plus, qualified patients get up to 25% off select treatments now through year end. Call 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com today.
Hey, it's John Curley with Dr. Kopstein from K2 Vision RLE. Doc, I heard that 50% of Americans have their lenses replaced by the time they're 75.
That's exactly right, John. As we near 50, our eye's natural lens starts to become dysfunctional. If you've now added readers to your need for glasses and contacts, it's a sign the quality and function of your natural lens is fading, and it's a steady decline towards cataracts.
Don't go another 20 plus years with poor vision, hassling with contacts and readers. Do what I did. Choose a quick, painless refractive lens exchange from K2 Vision RLE and start enjoying great vision now.
Our new lens technology is truly amazing. After replacing over 100,000 lenses, we have the experience to guide each patient to their best solution, even if that's recommending you wait a little while before RLE.
K2 Vision RLE can restore distance and near vision permanently, plus never develop a cataract. Read the reviews and schedule a free Zoom consultation now at K2VisionRLE.com.
KIRO Newsradio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO Newsradio and MyNorthwest.com.
Good morning, I'm Heather Bosch. Could we see power outages Christmas Eve? KIRO News Radio meteorologist Ted Beener tells us Wednesday could be blustery across western Washington.
We're going to increase the southerly winds not only along the coast, but through the western interior. So basically from the Willamette Valley all the way up to Vancouver, BC.
Wind gusts could hit 40 to 60 miles an hour. He says the winds could calm down by Christmas morning. Well, after last week's storms, a Whidbey Island family used a tractor and pulley system to prevent a massive tree from crashing into their home. More from KIRO 7 TV's Allison Amoy.
Slowly and surely, they pivoted the tree and dropped it away from the house.
But it was pretty fun. I gotta say that.
Once it fell.
Woo! Yeah. I had absolute confidence in teamwork.
Where's the nice big tree now?
It's in the woodshed going into the fireplace.
They are now proactively taking down damaged trees. Saying that maintenance is long overdue, Governor Bob Ferguson is pushing a $3 billion plan to fix aging roads and bridges. It would also fund 3 new state ferries. He says $164 million would go just to paving over the summer.
Fixing potholes is not sexy. I understand that. But it is important.
The state would borrow the money backed by taxes and fees the legislature approved this year. He says 40% of state highways need repaving. 1 in 10 bridges is more than 80 years old. It's a federal program that pays non-citizens to leave the U.S. on their own.
Leave now.
Now it's offering more money. CBS's Nicole Skanga explains.
The Department of Homeland Security has tripled its exit bonus for undocumented migrants who voluntarily depart the U.S. through self-deportation, increasing the stipend from $1,000 to $3,000.
You have to use the government's app and leave by the end of the year. Holiday travelers are starting to crowd into SeaTac Airport. Tomorrow and Friday are expected to be the busiest days. KIRO 7 TV reports if you're picking someone up, you can park free in the garage for up to 90 minutes, but only between 7 p.m. and midnight today through Sunday. On Wall Street, the Dow is up 240 points. NASDAQ ahead 125. KIRO News Radio traffic. Here's Nate Connors.
Hey, thanks, Heather. Speaking of the airport, right now there's a big backup on the airport expressway, bumper to bumper from State Route 518 all the way down to the terminals. Out in Sultan, we're on scene of this multi-vehicle collision. It's got both directions of Highway 2 shut down through Sultan. The closures between Fern Bluff Road and Old Owen Road. No word yet when this might reopen. If you're heading into Seattle, South 5 is packed through Northgate. You'll break free by the time you hit the U District. Linwood to Seattle, 20 minutes. North 5 slows just a bit from the Michigan curve in the downtown. And in Pacific, this just in, all northbound lanes of 167 will reopen at that bridge strike tomorrow. But today, we're still down to a single lane with about a 2-mile backup right now. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
This weather update brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. Rainy and windy today with highs in the upper 40s. It's 48 in downtown Seattle. I'm Heather Bosch.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
It is 11:33 on this Monday morning, just a couple of days away from Christmas, and it is time for the world-famous Hell to the No.
It is a big travel week, and just in time for the Christmas season, Ursula, there's a new miracle happening at airports across the nation. The Wall Street Journal is calling it Jesus on the Jetway. So flights are boarding up with dozens of people requesting wheelchairs, and then they land, and folks, the healing begins. They stand up, they can walk, they grab their bags, and they walk off the plane like nothing was ever wrong. Flight attendants say that some passengers openly admit they do it to skip lines, board first, and snag overhead bin space. And social media is apparently full of people bragging about this as an amazing travel hack. What say you?
Okay, if you are faking your disability just so you can be in the front of the line, hell to the no and shame on you. Now, the only reason I'm hesitating is that sometimes people do actually have a disability, and I've learned, because you've seen those videos where someone confronts someone in the space, the parking space.
Yeah, the handicapped space.
And they're like, how come you were walking just fine, and how come you have that space and you're faking it, and you need to, and then it turns out, well, they actually do have something, and
right.
Maybe that was just a day where they were walking better than usual, right? So I only hesitate for that. But if they're bragging about it, how you do anything is how you do everything. And what else are you cheating on in life? I don't think of it as a brilliant hack. I think it's just a sign of poor character.
It's pathetic.
It's pathetic.
Yeah.
What about you?
So, I mean, you're absolutely right. There are certainly some people who probably wouldn't be able to navigate the entire airport process without assistance, but could get up and walk off the plane.
Yeah.
But the people bragging about it, I'm not even mad. Like, honestly, if you're willing to go to that degree.
Oh, I'm mad.
If you're willing to go to that degree just so you can get on the plane first, who cares? Who cares? Like, I've never had a bag that I had to check because there was no overhead bin. I'm not a frequent flyer. But how much of a big deal is it if, oh my gosh, my bag is going to be in the front of the plane instead of where I'm at in the middle? Like, you're basically degrading yourself in order to get some sort of, you're getting virtually nothing for this. Why would you even do it?
Well, you do it because you're impatient. You're doing it because you do want that bin space. And if you've ever been that person who cannot find a place, and they're like, well, sorry, we're out of room, you've got to check your bag. No, that's irritating as all get out. And again, it's just like, ew. If you think that this is something brilliant and that is brag-worthy, and you'd be willing to put your name out there and say, I did this and I was able to get on first, Ugh.
Can you imagine being married to someone who's like,
God.
hey, honey, all right, so I'm going to need you to push me in the wheelchair. So check this out. We're going to get on the plane first.
That's just no good.
Divorce papers immediately. Okay, on a more serious note, the New York Times reports that CBS abruptly yanked a 60-minute segment on Sunday, just 3 hours before it was set to air. The story focused on the Venezuelan men that were deported by the Trump administration to that notorious Sacat prison in El Salvador. Sharon Alfonsi is the reporter on the piece. She was pretty fuming. In a private note to colleagues, she said the story had been reviewed multiple times, cleared by lawyers, met every editorial standard, and pulling it at the last minute, she said, was not editorial decision. It was a political one. While it's the new CBS News editor-in-chief, Barry Weiss, says that the segment needed more reporting and additional voices, including someone from the Trump administration, before it could air, despite the fact that the administration was offered the ability to comment and declined to do so.
Yeah, I think we're going to see a complete deterioration of CBS, and I hate to say that as a CBS affiliate, but this is scary for anyone in the profession of journalism because, while obviously you need to make sure that you have a balanced and a fair report, Sharon Alfonsi, from all the reporting that she has done, is not someone who plays around. And so the story, like you said, had already been reviewed. It had already been cleared by the network's attorneys, and it had met every editorial standard. She's not a new investigative reporter.
No.
And this editor-in-chief, Barry Weiss, I ask all of you who want to get a little sense of who she is, watch her interview with Erica Kirk and tell me if you think that she is someone who is unbiased.
Mm-hmm.
Or someone who can show fairness. And already people are saying that they're going to quit. And already people on 60 Minutes have quit over some of the decisions. And, there's just so much pressure, especially from this administration, anything that is critical of this administration, because, there have been lawsuits, et cetera. So I understand why the network would want to be careful. But if all the checks have been done and it's cleared, this stinks to high heaven.
Yeah, so Weiss was hired after Paramount's new owner settled the lawsuit with the Trump administration, and he has continued to attack 60 Minutes and CBS. And she was expressly put in place to, quote, correct the biased reporting. That word bias is probably one of my least favorite words that gets thrown around these days, because when it is used the majority of the time, it means the people who use it mean you did not exclusively present my side of the story without any pushback whatsoever. We get that a lot. You guys are too biased. Well, we have opinions. It's an opinion talk show. That's the way it works.
Right.
But the real bias is not telling stories that are important because they might make you or others look bad. Strictly telling it from, like, Fox News. If you look at Fox or OAN, those are effectively state-run media at this point. And if you have a presidential administration that puts in a mouthpiece who, by the way, is an incredibly unreliable narrator as the editorial director of a major network, and she's killing pieces that are critical of it, that's a huge red flag.
It is a red flag. Absolutely. And before I even look, I know that people are going to say, there are other networks as well. MSN has a strong bias for sure. Yep. CNN has a bias, although they're trying to change that. So, but in this case, I think this is really worrisome, and I think we're going to see a lot more of it, and I think we're going to see a lot of people exiting.
Do you know some of Barry Weiss's reporting history, by the way? She's very loudly said that she wants to return CBS to fact-based reporting.
Yes.
But she's been caught probably a dozen times selling outright bogus stories, like the fake Antifa account. She wrote this column, like, we're all fascists now, saying that the left wing was becoming just as violent as the far right. And she cited an official Antifa account in a New York Times column, which was a parody account. There are more significant examples. Like, she published this story about this woman at Smith College who resigned because of, quote, anti-white racial hostility. and woke indoctrination. That whole story was bunk. The university found that there was no evidence of discrimination whatsoever.
And
this lady demanded a large financial settlement before she even came out with this. And then there's the Toobin thing.
Yeah, I mean, again,
She blamed that on Me Too gone too far. Jeffrey Toobin. Him being fired because it was Me Too gone too far.
Yeah. She has a very, I want to say checkered past. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the idea that she's in charge of basically their editorial decisions.
Based on a long career as a columnist and Substack author.
Yeah. There's a lot of unhappiness at the network for sure. Okay, still ahead, we hear ya and words to live by. This is the Gee and Ursula Show.
Here we go. Darnold has time. Looks inside. It's caught. The Seahawks win the game.
Playoff berth?
An instant classic.
This is who we are. That's Seahawks football.
Check.
Probably the craziest game I've ever seen.
With the playoffs looming, what's next?
You know, we're always going to fight.
Complete coverage at mynorthwest.com.
They now have the inside track on having the best record in the NFC.
And the home of the Seahawks, KIRO Newsradio on 97.3 FM.
Our country is held together by small businesses. That's a fact. It's also a fact that 9 out of 10 of those small businesses will fail. Why? Because it's hard, really, really hard to build a profitable business from the ground up today. Pure Talk knows that. They started as a small American wireless company determined to keep their customer service in this country. It worked. And today, Pure Talk is determined to help other small businesses prosper by offering them the same white glove service the big guys get. Same service, same 5G network at a truly affordable price. Pure Talk is focused on businesses that employ welders and roofers, electricians, plumbers, HVAC techs, the people who keep the lights on. If that sounds like your business, give Pure Talk Business a try and see just how much you could save. Dial pound 250, say micro, to switch to an American wireless company who understands the power of small business. Pure Talk.
The first few steps that I took in the morning were pretty painful.
This is Carlos.
I mean, I had been told by multiple orthopedic surgeons that there was no alternative for me.
That wasn't what he wanted to hear. You see, Carlos is an active guy.
I played basketball, and for 3 to 4 days after, my knees would just be so swollen. And now I can play basketball, and there is no swelling. There is no pain in the knees.
No swelling, no pain, because Carlos went to see Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine for stem cell therapy.
I'm just happy to be able to be out there. And then knowing that tomorrow I am not going to suffer for this.
What do you say to your friends and family who are in pain?
I say, I had horrible knee pain and stem cells really worked for me. You might want to go to Dr. Wagner, just get a consultation before you have surgery.
Consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. Schedule your consultation at drmarkwagnermd.com.
Make this the last holiday season in that old kitchen. Hi, this is Chad Cicchini, owner of Heritage Homecraft. Our solid wood refacing system delivers a luxurious new kitchen way easier and less expensive than a tear out. You won't believe the difference. Heritage Homecraft's specialty is custom cabinet refacing and quartz countertops. With Heritage Homecraft, custom means built from scratch just for you. Our own craftsmen, not subcontractors, will reface your existing cabinet boxes with 1/4-inch thick solid hardwood and add new custom-built solid hardwood doors. We can make design changes, add cabinets, install custom features, and top it all off with a brand new quartz countertop. With the holidays here, I know everyone's busy, but if you order your new Heritage Homecraft kitchen now for select install dates after the new year, I'll give you 12% off the entire project. Hey, all year long and especially next holiday season, you'll be delighted that you did. Call today, Heritage Homecraft, 425-485-1600, 425-485-1600, or heritagehomecraft.com.
John Curley here. We value things that last. Local businesses, relationships, community. That's Madrona Financial and CPAs. They've been serving Washington families for decades, combining taxes and investments under one roof. Most firms just do one or the other, but not both. That's why Madrona offers the Madrona Analysis, a simple review of income, taxes, and investments in one plan. Call 833-673-7373 for your complimentary Madrona Analysis. Madrona Financial and CPAs. Local, trusted, and here to put the whole picture together.
Makita's built for the pros who show up early, who don't do shortcuts, only precise cuts. With tools built to last, job after job, year after year. Performance that pays off, because when the job calls for the best, you answer. And when you need the best, you call on Makita. Built to be the best. Available at the Home Depot.
This new year, get started on your next success with University of Maryland Global Campus. An accredited state university, UMGC offers online and hybrid classes, along with more than 135 skills-based degrees and certificates in fields like business, cybersecurity, healthcare, and more. Gain the skills you need to achieve your career goals. Apply now and save with no application fee. Classes start January 7th. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
The 37th annual Holiday Magic was another one for the record books. Thanks to everyone who donated.
You always come through.
It's not too late to donate. Just go to mynorthwest.com/holidaymagic.
Our Santa Loves a Smart Top event is here. Treat yourself to the best present of all, a hot tub from Olympic. Save up to $4,800 on your new tub with an amazing smart top for free. Ends Christmas Eve. OlympicHotTub.com. Better you, better life.
And just like that, we are at the end of our Monday edition of the Gee and Ursula Show. Gee has been out. He's not feeling too well, and I don't believe he's going to be back tomorrow, but make sure you send your text messages and let Gee know that we want him to recover quickly.
Yeah.
Okay, Chef, let's start with you. You can read some of our text
All right.
messages.
DK Metcalf smacked a fan in the stands over the weekend. Ryan in 360 says, I don't care what a fan says to an athlete as long as they haven't spit on them or physically touched them. Most of these guys get paid over $1 million a year. Sometimes it's $1 million a game. They can take some verbal abuse. Hitting someone is assault. If I walked over and punched somebody, I'd go to jail or at least get fined. He should have been ejected, and he shouldn't have finished the game.
I agree. Kirk in Mount Vernon says, I have sat next to someone who was an absolutely horrible heckler, and just by coincidence, I spilled my entire beer on him. He had to go to the bathroom, get cleaned up, and guess what? It happened again, I imagine by pure accident. These awful fans are teasing a line behind bars who then realize the cage is unlocked.
There was only one person who agreed with me, I think. 100% agree with Chef's points. Enough is enough. The jerk fan needs to be banned from the game forever. Players get spit on and verbally assaulted as they head to the locker rooms and even to their team buses and vans.
Yeah, I mean, and it's just, if you missed it, DK says that he insulted his mother, the fan used a racial slur, etc., which are all horrible, but the NFL has explicit rules on what players can do, and he should have just let it go, unfortunately.
Yeah.
On toilet rats, which is a thing with the flooding, we found out from Chuck in UP, the dishwashing soap actually works really well. It wasn't a rat, but my nephew's toilet did get clogged and he didn't have a plunger. And I told him to put some dishwashing soap. Dawn is actually the best. And let it sit there for about 15 to 30 minutes. It was as if that problem never existed.
Can you imagine that marketing campaign for Dawn?
I know, right? Works really well in the toilet, too.
All right. On the Washington State Patrol trooper's death, Jamie in Puyallup says, any and all flashing lights on a road or on the side of the road should be recognized as an emergency. You are required to move over one lane away from them, whether they're on the inside or outside. And if you can't move over, you should slow down and put on your hazards while passing.
Yes. On Kent's mayor blasting the National Weather Service for the flash flood alerts that she said caused unnecessary panic. I changed my mind on that, actually, after having Ted Beener explain in our 9:30 segment, and the mayor was right. Dave and Graham says, I live on Daffodil Avenue in Ording. We got a level 3 go now evacuation. We were never in any danger of being flooded by the river behind our house. That was also a rush to judgment. I understand erring on the side of caution, but not when it creates unnecessary panic.
Oof. Rick in the 425 says NOAA predictions in our area were way off. Predicted 3 feet over the all-time record. Sent me and my family into a state of panic. They seem to struggle to be accurate more and more.
Yeah, you don't want to have too many false alarms because then it's like the boy who cried
People
wolf.
ignore them.
But I would always, still err on I'd rather have a false alarm than no alarm.
Did we mention all of the cuts to NOAA, the National Weather Service, and forecasters?
Yeah, exactly. We did a whole segment on all the different holiday topics. Fake trees. Margaret Edmond says, my family got a fake one last year. I love it. I don't have to go to the muddy lot, then keep it in the garage for a day or two, then stabilize it on the stand. That stabilizing on the stand and getting it just right, that is a thing.
Yes.
Then dragging it out to the recycling a couple weeks later, there's also a spray to smell like the real tree. Happy holidays to all of you. Mark and Edmonds, you are such a true loyal listener. We really appreciate you.
You know, I got to bring up a third option when it comes to the trees, because I went to an Advent celebration last night, and the home we were at, they had a nice, beautiful 6-foot tree, and it was a living tree.
Yeah.
I think it was from the Puget Sound Stream Keepers Alliance. So you can get a living tree from them, display it in your home, and then they will go plant that, or you can go plant it yourself by a stream side to restore habitat.
Okay,
so
now
you get
that's
this beautiful tree, you get the smell, and you also
learn something.
contribute something back to the environment instead of taking from it.
Wow, that's a great idea. Okay, how long do you keep your lights up? Melissa in Hobart says, I like them to stay up through January as it's so dark and gloomy that the lights would bring some joy still. Yeah, you know, last year I made up for this year not having any, because last year we kept them up, I think, till April or May.
All year is fine with me.
I know,
All year.
right?
The inflatables, those can come down right after Christmas, but the lights,
I
keep them
love
up. Who
them.
cares?
Yeah, MEC in Federal Way said what a lot of people did. Christmas lights and all decoration up until Epiphany. Remember, the 12 days of Christmas.
What is that? Epiphany?
Powerball jackpot is over $1.5 billion right now. What would you do if you won? Mac in Bellevue says, if I won the lottery, first I would divide the money with my wife and my son. Then I will become a humanitarian and make it a goal in Washington State to pay for as many individual college degrees as I can, and also donate to families with sick kids. So, you know,
We love Mac.
I know, we really do. He's one of our law enforcement experts, and he has such a good heart. Love that. Okay, with that, it is time for our words to live by, and this is a quote from Zig Ziglar. Honesty and integrity came up as a thought, and he says, honesty and integrity are absolutely essential for success in life, all areas of life. The really good news, though, is that anyone can develop both honesty and integrity. Chef, thank you so much. Nick, you are always on top of everything. I appreciate you.
You too as well. Well, there's just 3 days to spare before the shopping nears an end for the latest clothing lines and toys that gained the biggest trends. So if you're still in need to finish lists and check them twice, now's the time to dodge the naughty list to show that you're still nice.
Run, Rudolph, 'cause I'm reeling like a merry-go-round.
And if you know there's crossover with bigger gifts this year, please don't cause some grief and just grab extra cash to keep the cheers. I don't want Grammy and Mama fighting over who's giving the PlayStation to little Johnny Boy this year, all right? So let's keep the peace.
Love it. Jake and Spike are coming up next. I hope if you're still doing your holiday shopping, just stay cool. It's all good, and we will see you tomorrow.
Hope you have as much fun as we have. So long, everybody.
Santa, make him hurry, tell him he can take the freeway down. Run, run, Rudolph, reeling like a merry-go-round.
When
when extreme weather hits Western Washington.
A flash flood warning after a critical levee breaks along.
KIRO News Radio is the first place you turn.
We have team coverage this morning.
Live in Auburn, James Lynch, KIRO News Radio.
Which communities are hit hardest?
Skagit River again going to flood to major levels.
What it means for your commute.
Northbound 167 underwater.
MyNorthwest.com and KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM. And the KIRO News Radio app.
This new year, get started on your next success with University of Maryland Global Campus. An accredited state university, UMGC offers online and hybrid classes, along with more than 135 skills-based degrees and certificates in fields like business, cybersecurity, healthcare, and more. Gain the skills you need to achieve your career goals. Apply now and save with no application fee. Classes start January 7th. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
When you switch to Progressive and bundle your home and auto, you could save hundreds, and that's a surprising amount of money.
Whoa, that's like farmer's market money.
That's like give me a gallon of that locally sourced raw honey money.
That's certified organic heirloom tomatoes in every imaginable color except red money.
That's let's get 2 pounds of pink oyster mushrooms money. I'm not even sure I like pink oyster mushrooms.
Guess it's time to find out, because you could save hundreds when you switch to Progressive and bundle. Then the world is your pink oyster mushroom. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
The stock market was on fire in 2025 due to AI and tech stocks. Now is the time to set a strategy for 2026. It's a good opportunity to lock in those gains and invest into a stable platform. With $8 trillion in cash sitting on the sidelines, investors are either scared or unsure where to go. Hi, I'm Scott Rurecka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital in Bellevue. Legacy Group Capital develops local real estate, lends money, and shares the profits with our investors. Diversify with Legacy Group Capital. Invest into our Northwest Fund, which is currently delivering 9% on a fixed rate term. It's our flagship fund for 19 years with zero investor losses. And yes, we do accept IRAs. Find out why 1,300 local investors have invested over $350 million.
Legacy Group Capital at LegacyG.com. This is not investment advice. Investments available to accredited investors only. Details at LegacyG.com.
Hi, I'm Dr. Nia Hurd-Garris with today's tip for kids from the American Academy of Pediatrics. As parents, we want our children to grow up healthy and strong. That means helping teens take responsibility for their health as they become young adults. One way to do that is to make sure they have one-on-one time with their pediatrician. That helps them become comfortable talking about any health issue with their doctors and with you. So make sure to give your teen a voice. It's good for their health. For more on teen health, visit healthychildren.org.
Hurry, time's running out. Check off the wish list with instant savings and free battery offers on select steel tools. Shop online or in store.
Our country is held together by small businesses. That's a fact. It's also a fact that 9 out of 10 of those small businesses will fail. Why? Because it's hard. Really, really hard to build a profitable business from the ground up today. Pure Talk knows that. They started as a small American wireless company determined to keep their customer service in this country. It worked, and today Pure Talk is determined to help other small businesses prosper by offering them the same white glove service the big guys get. Same service, same 5G network at a truly affordable price. Pure Talk is focused on businesses that employ welders and roofers, electricians, plumbers, HVAC techs, the people who keep the lights on. If that sounds like your business, give Pure Talk Business a try and see just how much you could save. Dial pound 250, say micro, to switch to an American wireless company who understands the power of small business. Pure Talk.
Your best source for local news. KIRO News Radio. KIRO FM and HD1.